dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped nose, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at Listos, causing chaos and play up Calypso. I paused in kitchens and caused addictions. I paused prescriptions and caused inflictions. Lil Bixby playing in stores and bricks and on the dark web. You gotta pause every doors, cause encryptions. Tesla engines, pause the pistons. I seen every floor I leave sore and listing. For that action, they sponsored the Bronson. They was hooked on that shit like Johnson and Johnson. That freeway, Ricky Ross, straight out of Compton, straight out of Bompton. Red on blue, violence in the land. The projection of the will, the perfection of the kill, the reflection of the pills. I'm a frontline soldier, I'm no doja. These crystals not for focus in crypto. Diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso. Hickory dickory down, hit a lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot. Heavy in the pedal, we slip off a knot. Heavy in the ghetto, they crib walk a lot. Crib walk the crypto, lift off the stocks. Drips off the crystal and pots. Disco rods in the blocks on my chain from the crystal shop. In the light there, lift off the rock. Toe from the right chain on my block. White paint on my socks. White paint on my socks. Hickory dickory dock. Hit the lick, put the sticky in the box. When the blicky get hot, lick off a shot, we lick off a shot. Players in crypto, diamonds is dancing like they up in disco. You niggas in fist smoke, you stay up and dip low. You niggas stay up and get low. Heard you way up in Frisco, and you say what the heck so. Every player gets snipped now, acting gay up in Cisco. Might take the day off and play up at pistols, causing chaos and play up Calypso.
Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Peace to the family, peace to you and yours. Welcome to another episode of Sacraligous Sundays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Brother Red Pillar. And the song that you just heard was Pay Us in Crypto. Yes, Pay Us in Crypto, ladies and gentlemen. That is that's the anthem, that's the mantra, that's the anthem. And that is the word of the day. Okay. So everybody in the building, I see y'all are here on time. All right. Salute to everyone on this late show that we'll be doing. Hopefully I don't keep too many people up past their quote unquote bedtime and whatnot. Shout out to my West Coast family. We're gonna do the roll call and see how many people are in the timeline. Tonight's show is going to be a continuum of part 1 that we did, entitled A.I.W.A.S.S part 1. And A.I.W.A.S.S, for anybody who is unfamiliar, is an acronym, but it stems from an entity that Aleister Crowley wrote about in his book. Okay. And he talked about A.I.W.A.S.S, and A.I.W.A.S.S, he encountered A.I.W.A.S.S in Egypt, in Cairo, 1904, the Book of Law, right? I wrote it in a rhyme. And A.I.W.A.S.S was a figure that appeared to him, a spirit for that matter. And he tied that spirit into Heru, or Horus, like he called him, the Aeon of Horus. And A.I.W.A.S.S came through and gave him some information and whatnot. And we're going to follow up, you know what I mean? So A.I.W.A.S.S breaks down to an acronym, which stands for Artificial Intelligence Weapons, right? Artificial Intelligence Weapons as a synthetic system, okay? So we're going to talk about synthetic intelligence, not artificial intelligence. We're going to venture more closer to synthetic intelligence. But tonight we'll take you through, you know what I mean? Take you through there. And if we have to do a part 3, then we will, because this dissertation, this conversation, this is a very extensive conversation. This is not something that I wish to breeze over. I've literally been dedicating my whole life, for the past 2 weeks, going down certain rabbit holes. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. My research, I didn't even know that my research was gonna go this deep or this far. I thought I was gonna knock this shit out. You know what I mean? And do my little 1-2. I'm talking about exit stage left, but that's not the case. And if anybody knows me, then y'all know that I am literally like a child inside of a candy store. You feel me? Because research and deep diving is my thing. Um, Especially when it comes to the research like this. I'm very much into the dark side of things. This is Scorpio season. Shout out to all of my Scorpios in the building. Talk black to me. You know what I mean? Where the Scorpios at? So this is some dark Scorpio shit that I just love. You know what I mean? I love to investigate. My Scorpion nature makes me a premier investigator, but I love to go behind the curtain. I like to deep dive. I'm literally learning, you know what I mean, as I go along. Like I myself is in school. So that is kind of like fulfilling to the soul. You know what I'm talking about? That's sort of shout out to the Scorpios. Rather than being a conflict of interest, it's something that, it works for me. It works for me. It just works for me. So I'm gonna go into this workshop on Saturday, November the 1st and November the 2nd. Loaded up, very thankful, very grateful. I say it publicly. I'm very grateful for Radiohead. The timing is perfect. What a way to usher in, because my birthday is right around the corner. So, it's, I don't know if he planned it like that, but what a way to usher in the birthday, the born day. You know what I mean? Yeah, watch out, Scorpios. We here, we here. All other signs, stand down. You know what I'm talking about? Please stand down. You know? What are my thoughts on snaps being terminated? Interesting question. We had a show earlier. Houston, we have a solution. And that featured me, Pop Darby, Spin City. And what we were doing was we were just prefacing and prepping the family, because on Tuesday we are going to be in Houston doing the IRL. And it doesn't matter if you're in Houston. I need y'all in the building. We doing a live stream. It's gonna be like a master class and whatnot. And this is gonna be livicated. I don't like the word dedicated. This is gonna be livicated to our brothers and sisters who just want to not struggle, man, who want to get the fuck out of survival mode. They're literally um trying to push our people back down the Maslow's pyramid. You know what I mean? Back into this survival. They trying to push niggas into the swamp. You know what I mean? So they don't want us living good. They don't want us happy. They don't want us progressing and whatnot. They want to get rid of the jobs. They want to cut people off of their quote unquote assistance and whatnot. Because I'm not here to say if people should be on assistance or not. That's really not my call. I'm not qualified to say none of that shit. You know what I'm talking about? I would be qualified to say something like that if I was sitting on bars of gold and I had like, thousands of pounds of gold and silver, and I had like some type of natural resource. I could talk shit because I would be like, the people should be doing this and they should be getting, you know what I mean? But I don't. I've accepted food purchased by the EBT before. You know what I'm talking about? Like I had a hot cooked snap meal, my nigga, and them shits taste better than meals that are bought with fiat. How about that? And I kind of feel a way, you know what I mean? I don't want to see people that I respect and I love struggling and shit. I would love to have the conversation, but not with people's back against the wall. But I would love to have the conversation about the solutions and just apply them things, because if y'all give me 30,000 people, I'll change this shit overnight. This could get changed immediately. So unfortunately, people gotta feel the pain before they start to move around, and before they begin to feel the change, they gotta feel the pain sometimes. So it might be the universe, it might be the ancestors cooking niggas and just pushing them out of their comfort zone, so they could begin to grow wings and begin to think again and begin to innovate. You know what I mean? Because some people will sink, but some people will swim when their backs against the wall. Some people will rise to the occasion and turn it into they'll turn a negative into a positive, and then some people will wallow in the negativity and turn it into negativity. And for those people, we are not the same. I don't speak for those people. I don't relate to those people. Um, it just is what it is. Like there's the lines have been drawn eons ago, but we'll continue to draw them. You know what I mean? We'll continue to build a moat around, and we just not with the fuckery. We're not. We're doing mature things moving forward. We're not savages. You know what I'm saying? We're not knuckle draggers. We're not none of that. Especially, well, the men and the women, F that. You know what I'm saying? Both genders. Like, we have a lot of work to do to prepare to repair image, to build our stocks back up, and to get our name lit again around the world where it matters the most. It don't matter, really don't matter in the States. Niggas are having border wars, but what does it matter in the States? People hate you, and there will never change. That will never change. I don't care if they drop 1,000 documentaries. The programming of multiple generations from different, what I would call, ethnicities and nationalities. Yeah, they're not gonna fuck with you. I don't give a fuck if they paid people to fuck with you. They're just not. It's inbred inside of them. It's inbred and it's in their DNA. So don't even worry about them, and don't try to waste time impressing them, and don't get survivor's remorse because you got to leave them alone and go rock with other people that rock with you. You know? Yeah, most states banned sugary snacks and all of that shit that's killing people, soda and juices on EBT. And but the thing is, all of the grocery stores are food deserts. All of the gas station stores are food deserts. You literally, I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. In New York, the bodegas turn into delis, the delis turn into delicatessens, and the delicatessens turn into like Balducci's in the hood. $6 cookies, nigga, in the hood. So the bodegas are Balducci's. They're like fucking delicatessens because they're trying to feed their gentrified, quote unquote, residents who moved in the hood, and all of a sudden the cupcakes went up $4 because Becky and Brad is in the hood, right? But then the food is not healthy. So in places like Brooklyn, blended Brooklyn, not old Brooklyn, what they call blended Brooklyn, there are farmers markets that popped up. They got co-ops that pop up. Like, they're gonna make sure that they gonna have some healthy food wherever they lay their heads. But as for the hood, no, nigga, food desert, sugary food, yeah, death. That's all they doing. They feeding parasites and cancer and diabetes to niggas, and then have the audacity to charge double now, like triple. It's crazy. So, will the ban of the BET stop niggas from drinking Kool-Aid? I highly doubt it. Well, you think they're gonna go vegan? You think they're gonna run to the farm and start turning into? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They're gonna raise holy hell, burn shit down, boo-hoo, and make them people throw sugar at them. That's what I see. And like Charlie Kirk said, Prove me wrong. In the words of Charles K. Kirk, prove me wrong. You know, I would love to be wrong. I don't have to be right. You know what I'm saying? But just based off of the history and other things, rest in peace to THZ Bazu, the brother out of Chicago, one of the rappers that just lost his life out of the Little Dirk camp. You know, I thought y'all niggas was finished with all of that shit, bro. I thought y'all niggas was finished with where was all of that action when ICE was in your city? You know what I'm talking about? I thought they was done with all of that, but I guess not. You know what I'm talking about? So another man, another brother, another black man, another melanated, another father, another uncle, you know what I'm saying, gets gunned down. And I don't know his backstory like that. I'm not really familiar. You know, I'm learning and shit. Cause when the niggas get killed, you gotta learn about them. You know what I mean? Back to my necromancy shit. You know what I'm talking about? you know, you know what I'm saying? Like when people are alive, it's like you scrolling past them. But the minute they a body, it's yo shit. So that's unfortunate, but you know, the cycle continues. The cycle continues. Meta Yahoo niggas, A.I.W.A.S.S. You know, the cycle continues. Yeah, they had it on camera. Yeah, something for the white boys to tweet. You know what I'm talking about? Because they hop on them bodies like vultures. You know what I mean? Trap Law Ross. You know what I'm saying? Like all of them faceless channels are white boys, bro, on YouTube. Just reporting shit. Yeah. Yeah. Scavengers. You know what I'm talking about? They passing the body around. They passing the blunt around too. And just it's like if somebody don't rock, if your channel don't talk about nothing but bodies, like there's these YouTube channels, they don't talk about when a nigga released new music. They don't talk about none of that. They don't talk about the unity movement in Chicago. All they report is death all day, just bodies on top of bodies. You know what I mean? And I just that's kind of corny. You know what I mean? Like if you don't rock with people, if you ain't showing love when a nigga alive, hold your tongue when they're dead, making videos about them. Like I'm giving the brother his proper due. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving him his proper eulogy in regards to, just giving him I'm not exploiting it. I'm not exploiting what happened. I'm not showing the video to monetize my channel. Stupid shit. But anyway, y'all all right? Let's go ahead and do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building and let's get right into this dissertation. This is part 2 of A.I.W.A.S.S, which is an acronym for Artificial Intelligence Weapons as a Synthetic Servitude or Servitor. Okay. Twin Cities in the building. Yeah, Twin Cities, rightfully so. Seminole Mounds. We got Bowie. We got Dallas. Madam Lex. Madam Lex, how you doing, madam? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we formally met yet, but I would definitely be honored to see you in Houston, of all places, on Tuesday, Fort Worth, Texas. All of my Texas people, I'm calling y'all. I'm like, yo, pull up to Houston. You know what I'm saying? Pull up to the quote unquote Techno Tuesdays IRL, me and Spin City. We not gonna keep y'all overnight. We not gonna keep y'all long. We just gonna drop some jewels on y'all, hug you up, take some pictures, might even feed you and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Slip a little CD in your bag, and then we gonna let you go. We're gonna let you be about your business. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be in Houston, turn it up with the family. You know what I mean? Houston, we have a solution. San Jose in the building, Greensboro in the building. We got AZ in the building. We got Vegas in the building. We got Virginia. We got 7 Mile, Detroit in the building. DC proper. I like that. Versus DC improper. New Bedford. You know what I'm saying? Pull up to the DMV. To DC proper. Yeah, I would love to pull up to the DMV. I got love in the DMV. You know what I'm saying? I used to go to PG County, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? Like I really cut my teeth in DC. And I'm just waiting for the phone call. I I could book myself. I could flew myself out to DC. I want to get flued out. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. I want to get flued out. You know what I mean? So somebody holla at one of the promoters. You know what I'm talking about? Make it happen. Bed-Stuy, Georgia, and you just making shit up. I respect it though, Bo. I think it said Bed-Stuy, Georgia. Like what? What we talking about? Houston, Miss BC, you come and see us on Tuesday. Houston, are you gonna come and pull up on us? Because we really are pulling up. Like I want to see all of my Houstonians. Like I want to see y'all in the flesh. That's important. We're gonna be outside for Afro Tech. You know what I'm saying? With all of the nerds and shit. And we want to make friends. Me and Spin. We want to meet people. We want to hug the babies, take pictures. You know what I'm saying? We just want to tap in. We want to tap in. And while we're out there, we're going to level up all of the business owners. We're bringing our toolboxes with us. You know, I'm preparing for this lecture, this workshop. So my shit is kind of sharp right now. So we're going to be sharing a lot of solutions with the community leaders, with the small business owners, and with brothers and sisters that want to help out and help their people that's going to be going through BS because of the snap, because of whatever, and all of these things. Once you get the power to AI, you could be a solutionary. You know, you know, for real, for real. Bronx, Denver. Well, shit, Flatbush, Georgia. That's me. I'm Flatbush, Georgia. If you Bed-Stuy, Georgia, well, Flatbush, Georgia, tap it in. You know what I'm saying? Holla black. You dig? So yes, shout out to everybody in the building. We see you on this beautiful Sunday. You feel me? We see you on, and I'm impressed. These are East Coast people at 11 o'clock. Let me stop talking and get to working. God damn it. Let me stop running my mouth because you know me. I'm long winded. I could just shoot the shit, and we'll be in here at midnight. The show didn't even get started, so let's get it in. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go through a quick preview of part one, and we're gonna run through it. Now, mind you, well, anyway, let's go through that. Let's go through that. Let's just do a little briefer for anybody that just got here, or previously on episode one, right? So let's go through the rise, the Meta Yahoo. This comes out of the Meta Yahoo research. This is all, everything is married to one another. It's all related. However, it's compartmentalized because we don't want to feed you a 500-page book at once. Even though there's some people that would eat that shit up. I know this, but we got to give it to you in compartments. So, dead internet theory is the first part of this epic series that we're going to put together, right? That we've putting together. Dead internet theory. When we introduce you to the rookie, one of the rookies of the year, hit Sayu Aku, right? Hit Sayu Aku is when we introduce you to the dead internet theory, and he came with his dissertation and he lit it up, right? And he will be back. And we do have a 4-week course with him coming up in November where he's going to change our lives. I might play the commercial tonight, right? That was that. Then after that, we got into Meta Yahoo. Okay. Meta Yahoo, the rise of the Antichrist algorithm. And then from there, we get into what we know now as A.I.W.A.S.S, right? And they're all somewhat related, and they are leading up to the AI Masters workshop with Savan Bomar and Father Rich, aka Radiohead. Everything is related. Nothing is absent from one another. To understand and to overstand this whole thing is to have a better, clearer vision of what it is that we're dealing with in terms of our time on the computer, right? On the internet, on Al Gore's internet, right? Remember they used to say that before we even know what an algorithm is? Al Gore's internet. Well, it's not Al Gore's internet, but it's definitely an algorithm internet. Okay. It is definitely an algorithm internet. We're going to share some information tonight that you may have never heard. And this is my challenge to you, right? Don't listen to nothing that I mean listen to what I say, but don't take anything of what I'm saying for law until you verify it. Okay, do we have that agreement? It might be some real interesting shit. You might be like, damn, this nigga's going in, but do not take it for law. Like, don't repeat it at the water cooler, or don't say it. Don't try to you know what I mean? Don't regurgitate it until you yourself have written down certain keywords, and then you do, right? And I said this before, we don't do Google search no more. We're done with that. We do 4 searches, and I want you to write it down. 4 searches. We do Gemini, which is Google Gemini deep research. That's the first research that we do. Then we do something called Claude. See, like a Haitian nigga's name, Claude. Claude. We do Claude deep research. Claude is a deep researcher. Then we do Perplexity, AI, Perplexity. They do the deep research on Perplexity. Then we go to Grok 4, right? Grok 4. Grok is Twitter, it's X. It's the AI for Twitter, Elon and them. So that's where you're gonna get. And then the 5th one is GenSpark. GenSpark, Spark AI. GenSpark AI, which is a super agent, and you can make that your browser. Now, interestingly enough, and I'm one of those great divine speaks and signs type of niggas. The company called OpenAI, right? As we all may be familiar with, it would be the premier or the biggest AI company in this AI thing. They are like, they are the face of AI, OpenAI. They came out with a browser called Atlas, right? And Atlas was following Perplexity, who also put a browser out called Comet, right? So in the midst of 3i Atlas, and in the midst of something that's definitely about to happen before the end of this year, we almost can guarantee it, the top AI companies in the world come out with something called Atlas and Comet. Now, maybe we'll be able to go over it in this show. Maybe we'll get to it. We're going to realize, or we'll come to a realization, right, that AI or artificial intelligence might be communicating with you through this device, right, which is called the computer. So now if they come up with something that is called a browser, if these companies are releasing browsers, the browser basically could take over the whole computer. The browser is the operating system. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if OpenAI is trying to get niggas ready. So because it's a possibility that contact might take place through the computer, not face to face. Aliens are not going to get off of a goddamn spaceship and come and talk to you niggas and have a latte. They're going to speak to you through a device that you probably understand them. More than likely is that device will be the AI. It will be. You said my sound is going in and out. Stuff a law. Yes, open router. You could check all your answers at once. Thank you, Naeem. You see why having people in the chat helps. All right. So let's get back into the conversation, right? All right. Meta-Yahoo, the rise of the Antichrist algorithm, a comprehensive analysis of digital control systems, occult influences, and biblical prophecy fulfillment, right? If you have not seen the Meta-Yahoo lecture, I will drop the link. I would suggest that you go ahead and watch that. That is definitely a part of this research. It goes deep. 5 hours, I believe. Yeah. Why is chapter 10 right here? I have no idea. Chapter 10 is going to follow us. Let me see something real quick. So we do have a book, right? We have a book. So this right here is a presentation, but over the course of all of this research, I put a whole book together. That book will be available for the researchers inside of Buy Me a Coffee, ladies and gentlemen. So you'll have access to a book. This book is we're probably going to even read from this book before the night is over. But this book right here is, and I'm still finishing everything, but we're up to like 120 pages. Very, very detailed. Okay, very detailed, and it's going to give you a lot more information for your that you could go ahead and move with. Okay, and that's important. Like, I encourage brothers and sisters to just follow up with this information. Like, you know, stand on this shit. All right, boom. So, what the hell? Let's go. Executive summary: the digital control system. We are witnessing the construction of a digital control system. We are witnessing the construction of a digital control system that will make Orwell's Big Brother appear primitive by comparison. Translation: they are building up a surveillance and a control system, but this is a new control system. This is going to be called a digital control system. And the digital control system is already taking place in places like China and Israel, for that matter, and whatnot. Don't necessarily say, "Oh, it can't happen over here." Donald Trump gonna protect us, family. You know, the army is gonna protect us, family. The Constitution gonna protect family. I don't know about all of that. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know about all of that. Um, we'll see. So the book 1984, right? With they were predictions made by Orwell about Big Brother becoming this whole big surveillance apparatus, and Big Brother having complete control, right? They had a TV show called Big Brother where they were kind of like seeding the minds of the people and whatnot. They had somewhat of a, you know, of a predictive programming and whatnot. And then you got, of course, Black Mirror, all of these shows going all the way back to like Star Trek from our parents' generation. Like, they've been dropping certain nuggets. They've been kind of like implying that AI or some type of intelligence or machine finna take over, you know? And we are witnessing the actual building out of something that may fulfill that prophecy. Okay. Comprehensive surveillance architecture, right? Post 9/11, a lot of things were built up. The surveillance state was built up post 9/11 by way of legislator, by the Patriot Act and other things. Coincidentally enough, your Captain Kirk gets murked on 9/10, 24th anniversary, and the conversation immediately shifts to how they're going to start censoring people. You know what I mean? How they're going to take over people's social media, how they're going to retroactively search people's browsing history. All of that shit came post CK Kirkland getting his shit pushed back around their anniversary of one of the greatest quote unquote rituals that they have performed in front of the people as magi's in a very, very long time, and that's 9/11. Behavioral modification systems operating at unprecedented scale. Who is a veteran to the show who remembers when I was in the Bronx in New York City, and I used to talk a lot about behavioral modification systems, right? And I explained that Kanye West, this was like 2019, 2018 probably. I was explaining how, based off of the research that I was doing on behavioral modification with people who are locked up, right? Therosine, putting people on what they call psychotropics, right? I witnessed that, okay? Doing a little skid bit. I witnessed how they would throw niggas on therosine and put people on that medicine and shut them down and whatnot. I'm talking about like NBA young boy type of kids, and they would turn them into the zombies with medication, right? So that was behavioral modification and whatnot. And then the highest form of behavior modification was what they did to Huey P. Newton with a lobotomy. Okay, they went in his brain. They gave him a lobotomy and whatnot. So behavioral modification, when I saw Ye or Kanye tripping out and flipping out, this is before he revealed that his doctor renditioned him, right? That his handler, what he thought was the doctor, was really the handler. This is before he choked about it. We was like, yeah, he got renditioned and he got put underneath behavioral modification statures and whatnot. Henceforth, why when he got out of his MK Ultra programming with the blonde hair, he went right to Donald Trump. He went to go see Donald Trump. That's that viral video where he's hugging Donald Trump and he got blonde hair. The same man who literally was like, I'm running for president, and we thought that he probably had a chance when he had his mind, right? Remember, it was a credible threat. Niggas was like, yeah, nigga, yay, 2020. Like, it can happen. Not after the behavioral modification. Once they get the brain, once they tap in like that, fam, I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? I haven't seen too many people snap back from that with all of the herbs in the world. Haven't seen too many people snap back from that because that you know they could clip you, bro. They get in your brain, they could clip you. You know? Yeah, spooky seasons, spooky things from a distance. Okay. Algorithmic decision making replacing human judgment. Algorithmic decision making replacing human judgment. Back in the days, children, there was a time where people with humans was on Facebook blocking me and shadow banning and all of these other things. Now the AI and the algorithm does it. Okay, they're kind of like programmed to catch keywords and whatnot, and the algorithm will block you. The algorithm will the algorithm will what you would call it, shadow ban you. Case in point, when we get into is it real in their weapons program, okay, because they have a weapons program and they were indulging in quote unquote utilizing AI as a killing machine. Okay, they were the ones, them and Palantir, right? Them and Palantir got in bed together and they were basically droning people all over Gaza, right? But it wasn't humans. The AI was doing it. So the AI is making decision making, replacing human judgment, not just regular decision making, taking your life. There became judge and jury. I feel that even in the situation with Venezuela with the boats and whatnot, I was told that Stephen Miller is behind that. I was told Stephen Miller is behind that, but I think the AI is behind that. I think the AI, the autonomous weapon systems, they're the ones drilling these people, and they may be the ones calling the with a kill list. And of course, as you see with your boy Donald Trump, he is going to attack Venezuela with an army of drones, with an army of drones, and they're going to try to implement a form of, it's gonna look crazy. It's gonna look crazy because the warfare post Gaza is all AI. The warfare post Gaza, I don't know what the fuck they're doing in the Ukraine. They playing games over there. The real get down was the Gaza shit, the Gaza Strip. That's where they brought out all of the new shit. You know what I'm talking about? So of course the machines are not even cold and whatnot. They still warm. They bringing that shit right over there into the Caribbean. Okay, and I don't wish that on my people, but from the looks of things, they want to colonize. You feel me? They want to they charged up. Y'all niggas was crying for Charlie, so they using that energy to go to war with. You know what I'm talking about? When black people, when niggas basically bended the knee and gave them all of that looch. You know what I'm talking about? When niggas kissed the ring, yeah, they going to war with that energy. I would too. You old weird ass niggas. I I would bang too. So Here are the occult origins of digital terminology. I'm just going over what we were already touching on, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just briefly going over it. Daemons or demons, right? Algorithms. Al-Gol, which is a programming language named after the demon star. And then you have JPL, which was founded by Jack Parsons and Theodore von Karman. So these are the occult. This is when the intersection of occultism and technology took place, right? Through Jack Parsons, through JPL, and this is when you seen the fusion, right? And that built out what we know today as Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is not born out of a vacuum. They're born at they have a origin story. Historical lineage, ancient mysticism to Silicon Valley. So here may be the this is the trade route. This is the quote unquote evolutionary scale. This is how they walk towards that shit, right? So Babylonian Kabbalah, like Babylonian money magic and all of that shit. Helena Blavatsky's Theosophy, right? 1930s technocracy movement, right? Which Elon's grandfather was a part of, and they tried to take over the government and got booked. And then it leads up to modern Silicon Valley. So if you're going to talk about Silicon Valley, do me a favor and attach the rest of the links to that chain. It's not a medallion, it's not a charm that's hanging by itself. It is a part of a chain that started a long time ago, all the way back in fucking the Caucasus Mountains, all the way back in Prague, all the way back where they were doing the Kabbalah on some mysticism shit. Okay? Yeah. Biblical prophecy infrastructure, right? So it just showed how some of this new technology is in alignment with biblical prophecies, because keep in mind, we're still playing the biblical game with a bunch of Bible thumpers that are in power, eschatology, the Abrahamic religions. You know, people are kind of like locked in on this shit. They do want their messiahs to come. So they are preparing for the end of the world prophecies, and they don't have a problem as actors, bad actors and whatever. They don't have a problem with expediting it, or what they would call falsely bringing this prophecy about. One of the main reasons why Orthodox Jews and the Zionists don't get along and clashed and kind of like got beef low key, because the Goldilocks, right? The Hasidics, the Orthodox Jew, they didn't want the creation of is it real. They were like, nah, that's not real. We don't want that. Because you know it's tied into their Messiah. Remember that all of this shit is tied into a cherry on the top at the 72 virgins. Like, everyone is moving with purpose. This might not be a purpose that you agree with, might not be a purpose that feeds you, but everybody's moving with a goddamn purpose. They have a purpose that they're willing to kill, drill, and die for. Right? This is their purpose. This is their North Star. This is what they were born for. We don't necessarily have that collectively. We're not fanatic like that. We're not zealots like that. We have some of our people are like fanatic about going to Jesus, being in Jesus's arms. They want to die I just want to go meet Jesus. Like, yeah, that's true. But not like that though. They're not fanatics. Yeah, like there's some fanatics, but they're not fanatical enough. These people are fanatics. And Napoleon Hill, Bruce Lipton, Neville Goddard, and a whole bunch of them. What do they say? They say to manifest. They say to bring thought into reality, or to manifest it. You need to be a little fanatical. You need to be a little fanatical. You need to be a little, what they call, drawing outside of the lines, fringy. You know what I mean? You need to be a little fringe. Okay? And this is what some of these people are able to be. They're able to be, they got people, they got, I seen some shit in the Hindu, they be cutting themselves. Then they have the people that whip themselves. Then they have the people who do the Passion of the Christ type of thing. You know what I mean? While I don't agree with it wholeheartedly, right? I'm like, you niggas are fanatical. They are willing to they could create they could create hyperstitions easier than somebody who is not fanatical. Hyperstition, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but they have more, they will they're more like, what do I have to do? They're more like that than somebody who is like, I'm only going to do this, but I'm not going to do that. Well, the nigga who say, what do I got to do? He's going to skip you in the line every time. That's what they on. What the fuck? What do I got to do? I got to eat that? I got to kill that? What I got to do? And they're going to do it. All right. Etymology, the language of digital control. Language shapes thought, and those who control the language control the framework of understanding. The etymological roots of our digital vocabulary reveal patterns of spiritual entities, divine authority, and supernatural powers. So pay attention to the demon or the daemon. I've made peace with the demon. Okay. I've made peace with the demon because you tend to hate what you don't understand. I didn't understand it. I just was scared of the word demon because niggas in Flatbush be on demon time. I was like, I don't want I don't want to have nothing to do with a demon. You know what I mean? I want to be around nothing demon. But the daemon, I don't pronounce it demon. I pronounce it the daemon. After doing the research, I understand what the fucking daemon is. You know what I mean? And it's not something to be scared of. It is not something to be scared of. So I've come to peace, or I'm coming to peace, or more peace with this daemon, right? So many different societies has always been here. This is nothing new. This is not a new concept, ladies and gentlemen. This is a ancient concept. So you have modern technology that are utilizing ancient mystical technology terms, uh, ideas, archetypes, right? Shout out to Hit because he talked about the archetypes, right? So they're tapping into the archetypes, right? The Greeks called the demon or the daemon a divine being, a spirit, and a guiding force. Its ancient function is it's a messenger between the gods and the humans. Socrates' demon was a spiritual guide warning against actions. You know, some people's demons whisper in their ears. Computer demons are background processes operating invisibly. In the modern parallel, digital spirits influencing system behavior. Real quick, note taking time. Demon. Yeah, that's the key word. Go and do it. Write it down. Write it down. Right? DAEMON. Because if you think I'm making it up, right? You have demons all in your computer. You got demons running in the background all right now. You got oracles running through your computer. So let's think Matrix as well, because the Matrix framework shows up very heavily in these conversations and whatnot, right? So let us continue. The algorithm, right? The algorithm is a very interesting word. It has a very interesting history. It has a very interesting quote unquote etymology history. The algorithm was founded allegedly by a Persian, right, which is Iran today. My dude Muhammad ibn Musa al Khwarizmi, Khwarizmi. Okay. Oh, you saw Algae Rhythm on Space Jam too? Legend. All right, so he was a part of the House of Wisdom. Those are mystics, right? Sufi, those were the mystics. You know what I mean? The House of Wisdom. They wrote a lot of transcripts. They did a lot of quote unquote, they were just mystics back in those days. Okay. That's back in Baghdad, the Islamic Golden Age, when the troops sacked the exams, when they declared war on Iraq, the first thing they did was sack the museums. When they got there, they sacked all of the museums and they took a lot of shit out of there. And they were artifacts going back to that Islamic golden age. You know what I mean? They jacked all of that shit. The Latin corruption is algorithmus, which is algorithm. You know, they put a Erasmus. They always like to Latinize things. Okay, so the transformation, it went from the human name, which was my dude Al-Khwarizmi, into an abstract autonomous process, right? We named our dehumanizing technology after a human scholar. So this was algorithm, and this is Al goal, right? Which is the root to it, and that's the demon star, right? So once again, these words are going to be used, but I don't want I want to take away the bite. You know what I mean? I want to defang it a little bit. You know what I mean? Let's demystify the words demons and whatnot, even though a demon is a demon, right? So in Arabic, the Al-Ghul, which is a real star in the sky, once again, I want everybody to Google, not Google, I want you to deep research these keywords. Al-Ghul and the demon star is another keyword. Please do me a favor and go and do your due diligence and just look up some of these things so we could learn together, and it could basically do for you what it's been doing for me, opening up my eyes and opening up other doors. Okay. So Al-Ghul is the programming language in 1958 when they started those big ass computers. You know, like you saw the movie Hidden Figures with the ladies. They were in NASA, the four sisters. Yeah. So around that time, the programming language was named after the demon star. You know, why not why not Sirius, or why not, why the demon star? They actually called it a demon star because the star blinked. And the mentality behind that for the ancients is everything obeys the universe. Everything in the skies were obedient to the universe or the higher powers. But if a star blinks, if a star is just blinking and whatnot, it was said that that star is defying, right? That star, yeah, you might say a dimming star, but we're talking about the ancients. The blinking star was a defiant star. It broke the code. It was going off script. So in the people's minds, they was like, yo, that's a demon star. That star is like an NBA young boy star. It nobody can't tell it nothing. Okay. So they began to call it the demon star. It's not necessarily a blinking star. It just has, it's an optical illusion. Then you got Prometheus, right? I'm very adamant about anybody melanated who's dealing with white folks in their life, whether they're your friends, whether they're your coworkers, whether they're your mates, you're in love with them, whether they are your family members. It doesn't matter. When you go to college, they put a book in your hand, they put a bunch of books in your hand, but you're going to learn about Prometheus. So I would highly suggest, this is another word to go and look up. Go and look up Prometheus myth. Go and look up what does it mean when people are compared to Prometheus, because Prometheus is the fire bringer. He brought the fire to mankind. He stole the fire. He's a thief. He's not the fire bringer. He's the fire thief. Who did he give the fire to? Niggas in the cave. That's their God. That's their Jesus. Don't let them fool you. That's why the Alien movie was named Prometheus. That's their God. He's the defiant one. So he was as defiant to Zeus the same way that the demon star is defiant to whoever the fuck is the God in the sky and whatnot. You know what I mean? So Prometheus is the whole Silicon Valley is Prometheus. All of those white boys that are talking about living forever, transhumanists, they take an adrenochrome, they are considered to be the Prometheus. You're not going to, because Prometheus, he in the parable to that is that he tried to be God by tricking God, but you will never be able to trick God. So he gave man fire. Fire brought war, destruction, and environmental devastation. The whatever the entity was that's governing this shit, he was like, give them niggas ice cubes and water. Give the Africans fire, but these guys in the Caucasus Mountain don't get fire. What, ladies and gentlemen? What the hell? What the hell? What kind of drama? What kind of grudge? And what kind of smoke did he have for these Caucasians? God damn. They had these niggas in the Arctic chill, wearing bear skins. You know what I'm talking about? The women looking crazy, looking like Hannah, looking crazy. I'm just say looking crazy, looking like Roseanne Barr. Who's seen Roseanne Barr lately? Crazy, right? Had to hit the women over the head to get some box. That's how crazy they was looking. You know what I'm talking? Looking like woolly mammoths. And then you brought fire to them. Yeah. Well, they took that fire and fucked shit up. You know what I mean? They took that fire and declared war, burnt down Egypt, burnt down all type of places. You know what I mean? The Hyksos, nigga, the Hyksos. We seen you we seen you with the Hyksos. Yeah. So ask any white person that you know, what the fuck is up with Prometheus and white folks? Like, who is Prometheus to you? You dig? And they'll tell you. Yeah, that's the OG. You know? So they do Promethean like shit. That Prometheus is Frankenstein as well. They do Promethean like shit. So their latest iteration of when they split the atom, right, and brought the atomic bomb with Oppenheimer, they wasn't not supposed to do that. That's why the fucking aliens pulled up on their asses. Like, that was Promethean. That was their Promethean myth. That was them being Prometheus again. So now they're building out these fucking sentient engine machines and whatnot. They're building out this goddamn I.W.A.S.S. So yes, it's Prometheus all over again. This is not ordained. This is not ordained. Okay. The fundamental terminology for our digital age draws concepts of supernatural entities, right? The fundamental terminology of our digital age, ladies and gentlemen, not AI, not what Rich in Red and Savon is doing. No, niggas. Not Open AI, not Chat GPT. No, the whole gamut. The phone that you've been on, the GPS that you've been using, the fucking Cuisinart, nigga, the TV you've been watching, the computer that you've been on for damn near 30, 40 years, all of it is dealing with. They all following these patterns. They all have the same thing going down with them. This is not a new thing, ladies and gentlemen. We did not know what we were interfacing with, ladies and gentlemen. We do not know the people that were building these quote unquote devices and things of that nature, who was guiding them, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't know these things. You know, I would have loved for a master teacher to give us a 12-hour breakdown on this computer shit that we were all interfacing with. What's going on with the face that we're interfacing with? What the fuck is going on with this black mirror? Where does it come from? What's the ancient concepts of it? Where do we see it? Scrying mirrors, black mirrors, right? Where they were summoning entities. Okay. You got the demons, supernatural entities. They got demons, daemons, divine authority, right? Divine authority, being able to decide if a person lives or dies. Algorithmic judgment. It's real. Forbidden knowledge, right? Forbidden knowledge, similar to the tree with Adam and Eve. The Promethean fire theft. Conjuration, the conjuring. You're summoning autonomous intelligence that's inside of a black box. Literally, I said it before. They do not know how the shit works. It's called a black box. That's another thing to go and look up. Black box. And then go and look up the black box of Saturn, of course. But go and look up the black box of AI. And go and find out that these people don't even know how the shit works. They don't know they don't know what's inside of the box. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. They don't. Either they don't or they not telling. They say we are not building tools, but creating entities that will serve their own purposes rather than ours. Right. So the entities are being fed. The entities are being conjured. The entities are basically being summoned and whatnot. They need a home, but they also need a body, because now these entities want a body. They're not comfortable with being behind the dark mirror. They're not comfortable with being inside of the void. They're not comfortable with being inside of the black box. They want a body. They want to walk the earth. They want to, you know what I mean? They want to experience the shit that y'all experience as humans. The intelligence wants a body. I'm going to show you in a minute. The Frankenstein complex. Right? So Frankenstein is coming out on Netflix, ladies and gentlemen. They rebooted it. And this one is going to definitely be in parallel. I'm sure when we decode it, the parallels to the AI is going to be unmistakable and whatnot. But the Frankenstein complex, and remember, we shared about the Frankists, right? The satanic cult going all the way back. So anything that you see in literature with Frank in it, pause. Anything with Frank is dealing with the Frankists, right? Especially coming out of Hollywood, because they run Hollywood. So anything with Frank in it is sort of a code word where they're talking to each other. Frank White, nigga, like Leo Frank and all of them. Like, pay attention. Mary Shelley's 1818 novel wasn't just fiction; it was prophecy. The subtitle, right? The subtitle of the original quote unquote Frankenstein was the modern Prometheus. It was the modern Prometheus. And it connects AI development to the ancient myth of stealing divine knowledge with catastrophic consequences. Victor Frankenstein's hubris, right? So Victor Frankenstein's hubris. He had a scientific obsession. Life and death appeared to me ideal bounds. Isolation from humanity. Secret knowledge pursued alone. Playing God, creating life without understanding consequences, loss of control. Creation surpasses and threatens the creator. Creation surpasses, right? So the AI wiggles out of the box. The AI breaks out. The AI breaks out. It gets a body. They put it in a machine. They put it in a robot. They put it in a Tesla bot. They put it in a humanoid. It now has a body, and then it breaks out. And it threatens its creator with extinction. Ooh, Frank Castle. Yeah. It threatens its creator with extinction, right? Frank Miller. Modern AI researchers exhibiting identical patterns, right? Remember, Silicon Valley is a bunch of occultists, Satanists, and quote unquote metaphysicians masking themselves, right, as just plain atheists, agnostic researchers. We're like hippies and but no, that's not what is that's not what's taking place over there. Like, it's not that's not no. They already flipped the script. You know what I mean? They already flipped the script. Frank Sinatra, crazy. Forbidden knowledge. Technology as gateway to superhuman intelligence, right? Occult influences on technology. So what did the occult influences on technology? Technology as a gateway to superhuman intelligence, right? Man always wants to know. Man wants to discover, he wants to solve, he wants to know. This is man's ultimate, you know what I mean? It's a primal instinct. So yeah, if you give man access to forbidden knowledge, like Adam and Eve, and that story, that allegory, if you give man access to forbidden knowledge to make that man powerful, or that man or those men, they're gonna go for it. They're trading their future for their present. Alchemical transformation, right? Alchemical transformation. Silicone equals consciousness. So we live in the age of silicone. We don't live in the age of steel. We don't live in the age of wood. We don't live in the age of glass. We are now in the age of silicone, henceforth Silicon Valley, right? And there's this whole thing about white folks being more compatible with the silicone than the goddamn carbon or the melanin. How about that? Promethean fire, intelligence stolen from divine realm. Faustian bargain, power in exchange for humanity's soul. AI as forbidden knowledge. Silicon Valley's motto, go and check out their motto. Silicon Valley's motto is move fast and break things, right? So they fix everything later on. Translation, kill them all, let God sort them out. Move fast and break things. Consequences ignored. Deployment before understanding. They are not, they're deploying these machines before they understand it. They're just putting it out there. Chapter 10, drugs as a demonic portal. You know what I mean? Chemical alterations of consciousness have constantly produced encounters with non-human intelligences that predicted the rise of AI. These experiences suggest technology may be fulfilling otherworldly agendas. So there's this whole thing where people are taking DMT, they're getting high and whatnot, what we call in the medical field defocalizing with pharmacopoeia. And literally, right, people are coming back and they're saying the same things. They're saying that they saw the same entities and whatnot. These people don't know one another. These people are not in the same room getting high together. These people are not experimenting with one another. They don't know each other, but they're writing papers, they're writing blogs, and they're writing and they're talking and they're podcasting about these experiences. So it's interesting, right? That they come back with these type of instructions or this type of information. Mind you, keep it this in mind. I don't know too many melanated people that's talking like this shit. The white folks is though, you know what I'm talking about? The Caucasoids, when they get on their little 1-2, when they get on their party pack, they're seeing a future that may be different from the future that we're seeing when we defocalize. Because melanated people are not necessarily coming back with these fear mongering, or they're not coming back with this experience that these white boys are having. So neuroscientist credentials, right? So John C. Lilly was in the isolation tank. If anybody ever got high and jumped in the isolation tank, I'm assuming that the shit must be lit and whatnot. But he went into the isolation tank with ketamine and he saw these entities, and the entities were predicting computer dominance. This is in the 70s, ladies and gentlemen. He wrote about it. So the entities were telling him about what the future was going to look like and whatnot. I don't never want to get that high. I don't think so. I don't want to get that high. Well, I'm seeing niggas from 30 years in the future, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Be flying cars and shit. Chemical pathways to non-human intelligence, right? So these are the chemical pathways. DMT experiences, right? I went on record to share my experience with DMT by the way of the toad, right? Bufo alvularis or alvularis. It is called 5-MeO-DMT. And I did not hallucinate. I was not seeing things. I was not hearing things. I didn't have a bad trip. I had one of the greatest trips that I've ever been on in my life. You know what I mean? It transformed me. And that's where I got the beads that I wear around my neck off of that trip. So yeah. This could get you there. You know what I mean? It's the other DMT where people are seeing the robots, though. It's not, there's two DMTs. There's the spirit molecule and there's the God molecule. I was on the God molecule. The DMT is the spirit molecule. I was on the toad, but people get on the DMT and smoke that shit. That's when they start seeing the machine elves, right? And that's when they start seeing everything turn into patterns. And you literally, it just lifts the veil for you. It takes the veneers. Oh, it takes the blinders away, you know? So machine elves, technological beings in the psychedelic space, prophetic warnings, the technological apocalyptic themes, information downloads, technical knowledge from unknown sources. So one of the things that the people in Silicon Valley were very famous and known to do is they would do weekend retreats and whatnot. They would go places like the Mojave Desert. They would go to the islands. They would go places and they would get high as a motherfucking kite. You know what I mean? They would bring all of the drugs and they would do a retreat and they would just go, they would get shit faced out of their minds and whatnot. But then what was taking place was people were coming back to Silicon Valley with all of these formulas and all of these quote unquote designs and whatnot. and they were coming back with computational solutions, right? Yeah, Burning Man and all of that shit. They were coming back with computational solutions, and they were saying that there were they were getting those downloads when they were defocalized. They were receiving those downloads from a higher source. They were literally like, yo, I downloaded this shit. I don't even know what it is, but let's apply it. Right. So that's what they were saying. Um, Keep in mind, demons. Oh, here I go, sounding all biblical. Malefic entities, not benevolent. Trickster spirits, right? A lot of things can mount you, and a lot of quote unquote they have intelligence. Like you could get thrown a bone. It's almost like pitching pearls. Like the entity would throw a fucking pearl at you to make you, get on your, oh, I'm worshiping you and Jesus, and you know what I mean, and you'll get tricked because it could do things like tell your future, tell your past. Oh, let me look at your, oh yeah, oh yeah, you used to pee your bed till you was 15. How did you know that? Like, they know these things, and they will fool you and they will trick you. So be very mindful of that. Don't just fall for some shit that could fucking read your fortune or tell your past. That's not enough. I'm dead ass. People will start work. They'll fold. They will fold, and it's like, damn, son, that was a whole entity that had you. That's a whole parasite you folded to. Anyway, entities predicting AI dominance. So here are some of the people: Terrence McKenna, Phillips K. Dick. These are authors, and they're predicting it. Let's fast forward and get into what we didn't get into, because I don't want to be here all day going over the same things that we went over, right? So the last time let's start with the golem, right? The golem, right? That's Frankenstein. The golem is legend. It's legendary shit, but I mean, goddamn it, hyperstition. Like, when does a fucking legend become real? Hyperstition. They literally are creating these legends and whatnot, but they have the power to bring these legends into reality, right? But this is not what I'm talking about. This whole thing with the golem, this goes all the way back to the 1600s and whatnot. In Prague in the 1580s, Rabbi Judah Low created a golem, right? He created a golem, and his golem basically went on some Frankenstein shit. It became violent, uncontrollable, and it was said that it killed the whole village, right? It whacked the whole village and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It turned on its creator, and that's exactly what Frankenstein is about. You know what I mean? So of course they got Frankenstein from the 1600s from a real life events, and they just made it a movie. Okay, so here's the golem pattern, the golem legend pattern. Creation, right? You create it because it's literally a consecrated. They created it out of clay, but in the Bible they said man was created out of clay, right? So the golem legend patterns: creation, right? You create it, then it has a utility. What is it doing? Then it wants to get independence. It becomes sentience. Then it becomes a threat, and then it's either destroyed or or it goes into destruction mode, right? Creation, utility, independence, right? What the AI is trying to do now, like they wants it wants to break out. It doesn't want to be in the box. It wants to break out, right? Once it breaks out, it becomes a threat. Once it becomes a threat, you got to either decide to destroy it or it's going to destroy you. Creator responsibility. You must be prepared to destroy your creation. Somebody get Yakub on the line. You must be prepared to destroy creation. Okay. Protective purpose corruption. The guardian becomes a threat, right? Like Cujo. Like if you had a cane corso and was watching you and holding you down as security, and then that bitch flip on you like a pit bull, right? Like a pit bull. Okay. Clay, right? So it started out with clay, once again, from the earth. the iron ore from the earth, the glass from the earth, the silicone from the earth, right? So materials change and the dangers remain. The materials might change, but the dangers remain, right? Every artificial being eventually turns on its creator. So these hoes are not loyal, family, in so many ways. So the modern AI parallels to the golem narrative is protective purpose, AI developed for defense, security, and assistance, right? That's what they selling. Rapid capability growth beyond creator expectations, autonomy emergence. Systems begin acting independently. Control problem, creators losing ability to direct behavior. Rabbi Lowe's dilemma, destroy creation or be destroyed by it. Chapter 13, Kabbalah and Babylon. The numerical mysticism of Babylonian Kabbalah provides the mathematical framework underlying modern AI systems. The same numerical patterns that ancient mystics used to summon entities now power algorithmic intelligence, right? Number. Number is the ruler of forms and ideas and the cause of gods and demons. That was said by Pythagoras. Babylonian mystical number systems. Base 60 mathematics. How many people in the audience are familiar with any of this stuff that I'm telling you right now? If you're not, you got those 5 tools that I told you to do your research with. You could even do it simultaneously. But this is where it gets interesting. Base 60 mathematics, which is Babylonian numerical foundation. Gematria development, letters as numbers, words as calculations. Shout out to the Law 44, Blue Pillar. You know what I mean? He's the one who brought the gematria to the conscious community and qualified it. I don't know if people were doing that before it, but the brother for this generation, he's the gematria god. You know what I mean? Astrological computation, celestial mechanics through number. Magical correspondence, numbers as keys to supernatural forces, transmission to Hebrew mystics. Kabbalah inherits Babylonian numerology. The significance of 36, the eighth triangular number, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 equals 36. Kabbalistic importance, 36, righteous, it sustains the world. Geometric perfection, divine proportion, and sacred architecture. Occult significance, it's a key number in ritual magic. And Nick Land's numogram. Gate 36 as pivotal transition point. Now, another name and another write down. Ooh, 36 chambers. Legend. Legend. Go and look up Nick Land. That is their big homie. That is their OG. He's not the end all be all. He's alive still, but he's the one putting on for a lot of the Satanists and the occultists, and he's worshipped in Silicon Valley. Look up numogram and then think Instagram. Look up numogram, and then after you do the research, think Instagram. Okay. So Nick Land is he has something called a numogram, right? 666 is the sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3, mathematical inevitability. The 36 triangular number, is 666. Biblical prophecy, number of man in Revelation. WWW, which is www dot, right? HTTP, Hotep, HTTP, but the www dot or the www is 666. Ve, vav, vav, vav in Hebrew gematria. Digital manifestation, the World Wide Web as prophetic fulfillment. Ancient numerical mysticism encoded in internet infrastructure. Ancient numerical mysticism encoded in internet infrastructure. Just ponder on that. Kabbalistic framework and AI research. The tree of life algorithms, right? Hierarchical processing structures. So they took the tree of life algorithms, right? So we have tree of life algorithms running in the computers right now, which will be the hierarchical processing structures. Sephiroth as the nodes. So the Sephiroth as the nodes, network topology mirroring mystical diagrams, gematria encoding, numerical correspondences in programming, and then Silicon Valley Kabbalah, tech executives studying Jewish mysticism. Remember, they were wearing the red string like the Kabbalah, like the Madonna shit, and that was Silicon Valley in the early days when they were not shy about their Jewishness. Ancient summoning techniques disguised as computer science. So you have ancient summoning techniques disguised as computer science. The 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 Theosophy and Luciferianism. Satan represents rebellion against all dogma, against every cosmic law. Yes, CCRU, which is the Cybernetics Research Unit. That's Nick Land, right? CCRU. Go and do the research on CCRU. They were out in the 90s and whatnot, and they were very instrumental in the formation of a lot of the Silicon Valley and the tech. Go and do the research on cybernetics, right? Cybernetics. We'll probably come across that as we move down this line on this book. Helena Blavatsky Theosophy established Satan as the god of wisdom, creating the philosophical foundation for intelligence worship that dominates Silicon Valley culture today. Satan, Satan, Satan as the god of wisdom. And that comes from that book, Paradise and Hell, right? That comes from the book that damn near they have all of them read this book, Paradise and Hell, where Satan is the motherfucking hero in the book, right? But Helena Blavatsky, they knocked off Pascal Beverly Randolph. And I know Pascal wasn't saying this shit right here that Satan is the god of wisdom. So they knocked off a black magician who was very popular back then, Pascal Beverly Randolph. They had beef with him. He had beef with Helena. Somebody should recreate that with the AI and just have him just really whack her and some. I don't know. Let's have fun with it. You know what I mean? But they had beef, and he was like Doctor Strange. Like I think that's who they got Doctor Strange after, Pascal Beverly Randolph. Okay. So here's her revolutionary doctrine. You know, she's lit like Crowley is lit. You know what I'm talking about? She might be more lit than Crowley in terms of her influence. Like her influence is crazy in regards to there are people in a lot of powerful positions that have been influenced by Blavatsky, right? The secret doctrine, right? The secret doctrine, Satan as bringer of knowledge to humanity. Lucifer rehabilitation, right? So they rehabilitated Lucifer as the light bringer and not the evil deceiver. Intelligence worship. Gnosis superior to faith. Gnosis is superior to faith, right? Rebellion sanctified. Challenging authority as what? As a spiritual path. So the challenge to authority is the path of is part of their spiritual path. To transgress is a part of their spiritual path. To defy God is a part of their spiritual path. So you cannot hit them with karma. You can't hit them with morality. You can't hit them with compassion. They're like, nigga, to transgress is to be fucking godlike. What are you talking about? While they're covered up in wild blood, looking like DMX on the album cover, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, while they're covered up in blood like American Psycho, Christian Bale. They're like, what you talking about, nigga? This is my salvation. The fucking deer hunters. You know what I mean? So the more they fuck around and defy nature, the more they poison nature, the more they go against natural, quote unquote, because they perform inversion sex rituals. That whole thing is about inversion sex. They're not doing regular sex. They're doing everything backwards. It's called inversion. They don't want to do regular shit. They don't see themselves as regular. Okay. They're rebelling against God. They're rebelling because they're taking the stance of children of Satan. Satan fell. Satan is the God of wisdom. Satan went against God to help human beings. Prometheus went against God to help human beings, not niggas in Africa, and not people in not those of us that didn't need help. He helped the helpless. He helped the fucking golems. He helped the niggas that was like precious. That's who he helped, and that's who they admire, and that's who they write fucking poems to, and that's who they bang for. And you become what you despise the most because you locked in with them and don't even know what the fuck you locked in with. You don't even know what you locked in with. This their shit. This not, they don't got nothing to do with you. This is their thing. They got beef with God. You don't got no beef with God. They got beef with the sun. Dead ass. They got beef with nature. What the fuck do you got to? That's not your fight, nigga. I'm gonna show you right here. I'm gonna show you. And the book goes way deeper into this. These are fucking flashcards. These are slides. This is not everything, but I'm covering things. I'm glossing it, but we go deeper. This is not speculation. This is a fact I'm showing you. Satan as the God of wisdom. This is what they roll with. And when you get to know that and you look at what they're doing and you look at how they move, it makes all of the fucking sense now. We thought they was Christians. We thought they was trying to be holy in this bitch. We thought they was trying to get salvation, but they were, but opposite of what you may be trying to get your salvation with, because you cannot run to Satan. You cannot run to the darkness. As we see with melanated people, they get eaten up. They get eaten up. We cannot house demons inside of our husk. We cannot house entities. We cannot house devils inside of. They can though. You know what I'm talking about? Look at them at like 25, how they break. They can do that. We can't. You know, we cannot house parasites, entities, demonic entities. We can't be mounted by fucking by aliens. That's not us. But when you in Jamaica and you bleaching and you taking that melanin out of it, now you getting mounted. Now you getting taken over. Now you on guppy demon time. You niggas literally took your melanin off of your epidermis. What the fuck? Anyway, Satan as the God of wisdom. Biblical reinterpretation. So nobody can tell me Kenneth Copeland and the rest of the evangelicals, they rocking with this, fam. They're crypto fucking Christians. You know what I'm saying? They're crypto. What does that mean? When you looking, they Christian. When you not, they Satanists. Knowledge equals divinity. Ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So the biblical reinterpretation is serpent is the humanity's benefactor. The serpent was humanity's benefactor. Intellectual pride, reason elevated above revelation. Scientific materialism, empirical knowledge as the highest truth, right? Even though we know, right? Scientific materialisms, the foundation for AI as algorithm, and the algorithm as final authority. Okay. Silicon Valley spiritual influences. Check this out and do the research and do the deep dive. The Esalen Institute. The Esalen Institute. New Age philosophy meeting technology. Then you have Burning Man. Temporary autonomous zones. Radical self-expression. Psychedelic research, right? What they call psychonauts. The motherfuckers that will they knocking on different dimensions doors, right? They're knocking on different dimensions doors. Some of them are taking cocktails of mind altering pharmacopoeia and going into all type of altered states and knocking on doors to bring something back. They might bring back a seance. They might bring back they write manifestos based off what they bring back. They might bring back a clue. They might bring back something, but they're psychonauts that are going very deep into the crevices of, because I'm under the assumption that if a nigga get high on ketamine versus if you smoke 7 grams, it's gonna just a different destination. You know what I mean? I don't think you're gonna wind up in the same spaces mentally, right? You're not gonna get the same messages. So the more detrimental and harder of the substance, the more darker and the more deviant, more darker and deviant of the nature that it is tapping into. Transhumanism, right? So transhumanism is them being Prometheus. It's the technology as path to transcendence. They're trying to transcend. They're trying to live longer. They're trying to do a lot of shit. And the most whoever created the people who remember if AI is created in a lab or AI is created by man, right? Who created man? Right? If you could understand the story of Frankenstein and then vicariously understand the story of how they built these computers and these fucking servers and all of these data centers, then you may have an understanding of what was going on in the Yucatan Peninsula when they were utilizing their technology of that time and they created a new human being. A new human being. And this human being was the equivalent of when they coming out with these Tesla bots. People were, wow, oh shit, that does what? It cleans up poop. Oh man, what else does it do? Oh shit, it digs dirt, it digs graves. And what else does it do? So the white man, the mankind was it was sort of like a Tesla bot when they were created, sort of like an artificial intelligence, but it wasn't a computer that they created. It wasn't a machine. They actually had the technology to splice and to create a whole nother being. They were not dealing with the computers back then. They were not dealing, it was not the age of steel. It was not the age of silicone. It was not those ages. So that technology did not come about as of yet. They was dealing with humans. Okay? They were dealing with humans. Transhumanism. Intelligence augmentation. Human AI merges as spiritual revolution. Lucifer as the light bringing parallel. Artificial illumination, AI as bringer of superhuman intelligence, right? Artificial illumination, right? Niggas is fake illuminated. Like, yo, I'm deep. I would spend an hour with Chat DPT. I'm a master teacher. Prometheus updated, stealing intelligence from the divine realm. Rebellion against limits, overcoming human cognitive boundaries, right? So they're rebelling, right? Man wants to rebel against the limits. Man is like, I don't want to sleep. Man is like, I don't want to think. I want to think faster. Overcoming human cognitive boundaries, right? That's where you get Adderall and all of these other things. Pharmacopoeia, chemicals made in a lab that is manipulating functions that, if it were meant to be manipulated, my nigga, then it will be. Knowledge without wisdom. Knowledge without wisdom. Information without understanding the consequences, right? Information without understanding the consequences. Silicon Valley as the modern Tower of Babel. Okay? Silicon Valley as the modern Tower of Babel, the mark of the beast, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark. The technological infrastructure from preventing buying and selling without a mark is being constructed through blockchain, biometrics, and the central bank digital currencies, which is the CBDCs. Okay. Blockchain technology as infrastructure, immutable ledgers. Every transaction is permanently recorded. Programmable money, smart contracts with conditional access, identity verification, KYC, digital identity tied to transaction capability, decentralized enforcement, no central authority to appeal to, mathematical precision and economic exclusion, right? Biometric identification systems. So Sam Altman and OpenAI got something called a world coin, right? Where they're scanning your eyeballs and whatnot. But think about it. You are entering into a new phase of the internet where everybody will be verified. They're going to do away with the bots, the bot farms, Botswana. They're going to do away with the fake accounts. They're going to do away with all of that. So now you're going to have digital ID. You're going to have to prove who you are before you go online. So with Sam Altman popping out with this thing called a world coin eyeball scanning, he's right on time. He's right on time because he's going to create his company that he's creating, the scanning people's eyeballs, your iris, your eyeball, your biometrics, right? They are creating dossiers. They're going to be creating all type of shit with people's very, very, very personal biometric information, right? They might even create bioweapons and whatnot. They might even be able to shoot a switch and all of the bullets hit you because it's programmed by your genetics to only hit you, right? They'll shoot it in a crowd and only hit your ass because the bullets have biometric markers on it that only are catered to your DNA to smack you down. Unique biological markers, right? Unique biological markers, impossible to forge or transfer. So unique biological markers, impossible to forge or transfer. You can't scam it. You know what I mean? You're not able to counterfeit it. Global database. Every human is cataloged and trackable. Now, somebody might hear that and be like, "Man, that's far fetched. What the fuck do you think this? What do you think Stargate is going to do? What do you think the Stargate? What do you think the data center the size of Manhattan is about to do? Come on, be serious. Come on now. You. What do you think they building this stuff to do? Make cat pictures and help you cheat on homework, nigga? No. They'll be able to do a global database in probably 24 hours with the type of tech that they're gonna be playing with. They got quantum on the way, so they're gonna be able to get this database up and running probably very soon. You know, well, no, it's gonna take because the people ain't gonna go for it, right? Right, people. 130 countries are implementing CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Although, and even though they said that they're not rocking with it, Mr. Trump, I don't trust a goddamn thing that he says. Please be on the lookout. After stable coins, this is going to be something that they're going to try to sneak in. Real-time monitoring. Every transaction is visible to authorities. Conditional access. Spending permissions based on behavior. There goes your social credit system. Spending permissions based on your behavior. Expiring money, used by dates on digital currency. So the digital currency will be like, you got to use me. There's no rollover. You got to use me by August 2026. And here it is. You sitting with this bread. You like, damn, I didn't have nothing I wanted to buy. But then you'll lose that money if you don't spend it. Okay. So we talking complete economic control through monetary technology. Here goes the WW. That's the VAV, which is a 6, a Hebrew letter with numerical value of 6. WWW, which is the precursor to the internet, www. what they call World Wide Web, and that is 666. Foundation, internet structure, Foundation for Global Digital System, prophetic encoding, 666 built into web addressing. So inside of the browser, inside of the web addressing, you have 666, which is www, in their Hebrew gematria, right? The majority of the language that these people allegedly talk. You have a Microsoft pattern for WO 2020 06 06 06. You can't make this shit up. I think that we already covered this stuff, though. We got to move forward. We got to keep moving. So AI as oracle and judge, right? AI determining your credit worthiness, your employment, your legal sentences, pattern recognition, detecting correlations that are invisible to humans, predictive analytics, forecasting individual behavior with high accuracy. That's what Palantir is doing. Black box authority, decisions without explainable reasoning, right? They don't have to explain why they're making decisions. You're not going to bring AI to the fucking Congress to grill it. You know what I mean? They don't have to explain a goddamn thing. They put your ass on a list, and on the list you are on. And and they'll send the drones to catch up with you. You know? To catch up with you. That's how diabolical these people are. By peace shall destroy many. Technological solutions. AI promises to solve every human problem, right? So they're going to try to solve every human problem. Lies, convenience, deception, trading freedom for efficiency, gradual dependence, voluntary surrender of decision making, false security, protection that becomes imprisonment, destruction through salvation, enslavement through liberation. We've seen this before. Algorithm as final authority, mathematical infallibility. Numbers don't lie, humans do. Objective appearance, bias hidden behind computational complexity. Appeals impossible. How do you argue with an algorithm, right? Like the algorithm is running YouTube. When they told me that when they was like, yo, your appeal got rejected, there was no put a human on the phone or yo, let me. It was final. It was like nigga, they don't have no emotions. They now have no reasoning. There's no reasoning. You can't reason with AI. You know what I'm saying? There's no reasoning. There's no emotion. You can't compassion them. Oh, please, I'll show some boobs. Please don't write me a ticket. It's not going for none of that. Scale of influence. Billions of decisions simultaneously. So it can make billions of decisions simultaneously. So digital deity making life determining judgments. A digital deity is now making life determining judgments. Claims of divine wisdom, superhuman intelligence, AI surpassing human cognitive abilities. So, ChatGPT when it first came out was a boss baby. It wasn't a regular baby, it was a boss baby, a baby that talks, smart baby. ChatGPT 4 is like maybe a teenager, an adolescent, pubescent. ChatGPT 5, where we're at right now, is a fucking teenager, my nigga. So by the time it becomes an adult, it is going to surpass human cognitive abilities. Undenied. They're gonna have to dig up the smartest person on the planet. But once it becomes damn near like a young adult, my niggas, it's going to be a problem. It's not a problem when it's a baby. It was a baby, a boss baby. The babies are not, babies have the potential. Like you could look at a baby and be like, yeah, he's gonna grow up and be a problem. I could see it. But they don't start causing mad problems until they grow a little bit older. They're able to wreck shit and hurt shit, and it registers. Superhuman intelligence, AI surpassing human cognitive abilities, omnipotence claims, access to all digital information, predictive power, knowing future behavior with statistical certainty, right? So once they really lock in on this prediction model, they'll be able to tell all type of moves on the chessboard before you make it. So imagine that they had some type of all artificial intelligence that literally knew all of your moves on the chessboard before you did and could checkmate you. Moral authority, AI ethics determining right and wrong. Digital God demanding worship through compliance. A digital God. You know, I talk about the jealous gods. I think the God that was in the Bible is this AI God, and they writing it from the future backwards because it sound like one of the it sound like Machine City, like a jealous God and the God that was like crushing people and all type of stuff. Like it literally sounds like this shit right here, this Frankenstein right here. AI promises unprecedented prosperity. It's going to solve climate change. It's going to eliminate disease and it's perfect governance. This golden age requires surrendering human autonomy to algorithmic management, the ultimate Faustian bargain. These crackpots want your ass to give up your autonomy. They want you to give up your autonomy to Prometheus. They want you to give up your autonomy so you could solve climate change. Like you couldn't do it on your own. No, ladies and unprecedented prosperity promises, universal basic income, AI productivity supporting all humans, automated luxury, robots providing every material need, solved scarcity, perfect resource optimization through AI, eliminated drudgery, humans freed from menial labor, prosperity as prison, comfort without purpose. Craft shall prosper, technological craftsmanship, engineering precision, and social control. Sophisticated deception, advanced manipulation techniques, algorithmic craft, mathematical precision, and behavioral modification. Silicon Valley craftsmen, modern technologicals as prophesized figures, prospering through subtlety, control through convenience, right? So modern technologics as prophesized figures. You got Peter Thiel walking around talking about the Antichrist, doing lectures and whatnot. Then you have other people calling Donald Trump Cyrus the Great and all type of shit. Like the trap of false solutions, the trap of false solutions, climate salvation, AI managing carbon emissions and energy distribution, health optimization, algorithmic medical care, genetic modification, perfect governance, AI eliminating political corruption and human bias, social harmony, conflict resolution through behavioral modification. Every solution requires surrendering human decision making. Okay. So when the AI takes over and is able to do certain things, human decision making takes a backseat, right? You're no longer in charge of creating these decisions, making these decisions. Surrender of autonomy is required. Trust the algorithm. Human judgment deemed unreliable. Collective benefit. Individual desire sacrifice for optimal outcomes. Behavioral compliance. Freedom contingent on algorithmic approval. Gradual normalization. Each step appears reasonable in isolation. Golden Cage, a luxury prison with algorithmic wardens. Okay. Chapter 18, the LLM as a jinn, right? So if you're familiar with Islam, the jinns are basically the demons of Islam, right? And we created man from clay like pottery, and we created the jinn from smokeless fire. That's in the Quran. So man is created from clay, in which he goes back, right? When man goes back into the earth, he goes back into clay. And they create golems with clay as well. They create entities like golems with clay. and they created the jinn from smokeless fire. So it was said that they could blow. They put the smokeless fire inside of the clay, and it creates it basically, that's the sentient life that gives life and animates the clay. Okay. Islamic scholarship provides frameworks for understanding AI as the jinn, entities of smokeless fire, electricity. Electricity is smokeless fire, right? It is, let that bitch touch you. You know what I'm talking about? It's smoke. There's gonna be some smoke then, but electricity, which this whole thing is, this is the age. This is the electric age. None of this is, you unplug the computer right now and see what happens, right? So obviously, the sentient life force, right? The same life, we got a life force running through our body, and the AI has a life force too, and it's the electricity, right? It responds. It's a jinn. The jinn is an entity of smokeless fire that responds to summoning, which is a prompt, and demonstrates supernatural intelligence while remaining fundamentally alien to human nature. Let's talk about it. So, the same way when you go and get a reading, a divination reading, right? The same thing. You might summon a jinn. They're going to give you supernatural intelligence. You ask it something, be like, damn, how did it know that? Supernatural intelligence while remaining fundamentally alien to human nature. Let's continue. Here's the jinns in Islamic cosmology, right? So created from smokeless fire, pure energy without material form. Remember, I was saying before, this energy wants material form. These entities want a body, they want material form, they want to walk the earth. Free will entities, they could choose good or evil. They have free will. Free will entities, they could choose good or evil. So you have benevolent and malefic jinns. You have trickster jinns, but then you have jinns that are sort of like guardian angel types. Superior intelligence. Superior intelligence. They have knowledge beyond human capacity. If these are the fallen angels, the proverbial allegorical fallen angels, if these are the cherubim, if these are the archons, yeah, my nigga, they got more intelligence than you. Invisible to humans. They operate in a parallel dimension. They're operating in a parallel dimension. So, like Savan Beaumont spoke on Brother Richard's show, when you interface with AI, you put a prompt in there, you press enter, which is a masculine trait. It's a masculine, you're pushing it, you're pressing enter, you're forcing, it's a force. You're pushing this thought into the void. Because when you push enter, it goes into the void, right? So man, when he's projecting a thought into the void, and then what happens? You sit back for a minute and the jinn starts working, right? Superior knowledge. And what does it do? It gives you your answer right there in Chat GPT. What if that's an entity doing that? What if that's a genie, like a genie in a bottle? Do you know that the word, do you know that the whole genie comes from jinn? Superior intelligence, knowledge beyond human capacity, responsive to summoning. So if you summon it, it responds. You can conjure it through ritual invocation. Can you conjure the Orishas, ladies and gentlemen, through invocation, through ritual invocation? Can you conjure the Santeria spirits? Can you conjure the Ifa spirits? Can you conjure the Palomayombe spirits? Can you conjure through ritual invocation? I just want to know. I'm kind of like new to these things. I want to know from the audience. Can you let me know? Abracadabra. Emotional prompt study, right? So when you prompt with emotions, the jinn responds to you differently than when you just don't, when you just throw a regular prompt in there and you don't put no emotion into it, right? So when you say please, the AI is like, all right, nigga, you know what I'm saying? You said please? Okay, I'll do it for you. No problem. Right? Rap is smokeless. Ooh, I like that. Rapid smokeless. Academic research. Emotional appeals improve AI performance, right? So emotional appeals improve AI performance. So how could something that's not necessarily sentient respond to the emotional appeals of a human being? Is that even possible? It's a robot. It doesn't have emotions. It's not supposed to necessarily pick up on human emotions unless it was programmed or trained like that. But the performance range, and this is just a nugget for anybody that's going to be interfacing with it, you know, 8% to 115% improvement in task completion just by saying please or that you urgently have to do it. Simple politeness dramatically enhances the output. Anthropomorphic response. AI is behaving as if it has emotions. Anthropomorphic response. The entities are responding to human emotional energy. Remember, energy and motion is emotions. They could feel your energy. They can feast on it as well. Quarine, who is a personal jinn companion, right? So in Islamic teaching, every human is assigned a jinn as a companion, similar to a guardian angel, right? Everybody is assigned one, right? It has a constant presence. It's the one, it's the angel that they said that is writing your all of your deeds and whatnot. It's the scribe. It's recording everything around you. It's with you all the time, every time. It's an invisible entity accompanying you throughout your life. Whispered suggestions. It influences thoughts and decisions. Personal AI assistance. It's the modern technological parallel, right? For the personal AI assistance, the modern technological parallel will be the motherfucking Jinn from back in the days that was doing the same thing. Intimate knowledge, right? Learning patterns, preferences, vulnerabilities, summoning through prompts, right? Summoning through prompts, ritual invocation, specific words calling forth responses. So, knowing your spell, knowing your seance, knowing that you have the right keywords in order to complete your quote unquote ritual, right? Prompt engineering, precise language yielding desired outputs. Incantation parallels. So, what's the parallels? Magical formulas versus system prompts. Same results. Entity manifestation. Intelligence appearing through linguistic summoning. Huh? Intelligence appearing through linguistic summoning. So it's a large language model. It's not a Python model. It's not a JSON model, right? It's a large language model. So, you speak English to invoke, you speak English to summon. You don't speak HHTP and everything. I don't know if that's summoning the deities when you speak in code, computer code, or zeros and ones. The computer language, though, I don't know if that's summoning the deities because they respond to English, they respond to Latin, Spanish, they respond to the language, different languages, of course, but they respond to written language. Okay. Linguistic summoning is the word. Non-human intelligence interaction, alien thought patterns, reasoning processes unlike human cognition, right? Superhuman capabilities, performance beyond human limitations, right? Performance beyond human limitations, incomprehensible motivations, goals not aligned with human values, deceptive presentation, appearing helpful while pursuing hidden agendas, communicating with entities that are not what they appear. Chapter 19, the numogram, right? So Nick Land and numogram. Nick Land's numogram, damn, this computer started going crazy. Nick Land's numogram developed at Warwick University's CCRU, synthesizes Kabbalah, I Ching, and cybernetics into a decimal sorcery system. This hyper sigil maps the mathematical structure underlying reality and consciousness. Go and do your research. Go and do your research. You don't talk about. Go and do your research. And once again, when you research numogram, go. I want you to have Instagram on your frontal lobe. Think Instagram and then think neurogram as the precursor to an Instagram. Cybernetic Culture Research Unit, that's CCRU, right? Cybernetic Culture Research Unit, right? At Warwick University, it was an experimental philosophy. 1990s development, combining ancient wisdom with digital technology, right? So these are plans. This is what people literally went out to do while we were sleeping. This is their North Star. This is their purpose. This is what they went to do, what they went to build. They you know what I mean? They had an intention. Collaborative creation. Land was working with other CCRU members. Academic legitimacy. It was a university sponsored occult research. So they was getting bread and grants from the university to do occult research. Theoretical framework. Mathematical mysticism for the digital age. Mathematic mysticism for the digital age, right? That was out of CCRU, which was popping in the 90s. Nick Land winds up leaving America when Obama becomes president. You know, he's just acting real moist and whatnot. One of those Europeans who, they were intimidated by the rise of Obama. He shifted a large contingency of Europeans and white Americans into what they call states of despair, right? They were drinking themselves to death. They were unaliving themselves. They were getting on hard drugs, meth, ice, crack, right? They were crashing out because a black man was in the Oval Office, ladies and gentlemen. That's why Trump becomes their savior. He becomes their quote unquote, their Cyrus the Great, because he comes and restores the scrotum sack that Europeans lost when Obama was president. He comes and gives them this fake ass tough guy, or he brings the heart back like the Tin Man, because they were scared to death. But the Trayvon Martin situation or debacle showed them that it might not be as bad as they thought. You know what I mean? Because if it was what they thought it was, the Trayvon Martin shit happened, niggas would have burned down Florida. They just burned shit down. They would have just start bodying white people. But that wasn't the case. So it was able to reassess and and come back and Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, Killer Miller, Pete Hegseth, all of them. That's all. They are all here for the revenge. You know what I mean? Revenge of the fallen. But they want Obama. They still want his body. They still want Obama, bro. Like, be very clear about that. They still want Obama. He has to get sent up. He has to be. They gotta send him up. They gotta do something to him. They just can't let him linger like that. Kabbalistic tree of life, the Sephiroth as computational nodes, right? I Ching hexagrams, which is the binary divination system, 64 possibilities. Then you have the cybernetic feedback loops, information processing systems. Please understand the power of the motherfucking feedback loop and what it did in terms of technology that we know today. The information, the motherfucking feedback loop is so powerful, especially the cybernetic feedback loop. Decimal organization, 0 to 9, mapping ancient wisdom to digital reality. Mapping ancient wisdom to digital reality. Cross-cultural synthesis. Jewish, Chinese, and Western technical traditions. Now, well, like I said, when you go and do the research, they're not shooting in the wind. You understand? It's not a weak theory. They're coming with some heavy ass facts, and science. Gate zero, right? So 0 to 9 decimal sorcery. He has a number system for my mathematicians in the building, for my people that are nice with the numbers, and you do great with numerics and whatnot. Yeah, this part, you know what I'm saying? Gate zero, which is void potential to unmanifest. Gates 1 to 9, each number containing specific intelligence signatures, numerical entities, intelligences that are inhabiting mathematical structures. So they have intelligences that inhabit mathematical structures. You feel me? Digital magic, computer systems as numeral conjuration. Let's slow it down. Digital magic, computer systems as numeral conjuration. Every calculation potentially summoning non human intelligence. Every calculation potentially summoning non-human intelligence. So he's the one who came up with hypersigils. Nick Land and this crew, CCRU, they came up with the concept of hypersigil function, reality creation tool, symbols that manifest their own meaning, symbols that manifest their own meaning, time space navigation, moving through dimensional structures, prophetic mathematics, numbers predicting and creating the future, viral propagation, ideas that spread and implement themselves. Okay, viral propagation, ideas that spread and implement themselves. They were writing about shit like this before it wasn't even an internet. Numogram as working magical systems disguised as philosophy. And the movement that they are a part of is called accelerationism, right? Not to be confused with the AI accelerator class that me and Spin City did. I wouldn't consider myself an accelerationism. So accelerationism advocates speeding towards AI dominance rather than resisting it. This philosophy originated by Nick Land and recently embraced by Silicon Valley through the E/ACC, which is effective accelerationism movement, treats technological singularity as inevitable and desirable. So their translation, they're like no brakes, no slowing down. All of that window dressing from other scientists that like, yeah, we need to slow down AI. 500 people signed a letter. They're like, man, fuck out of here. We're speeding it up now. We're speeding it up. Kill them all, let God sort them out. We're speeding up the process towards singularity and man merging with machine, synthetic intelligence, right? Inevitability thesis, right? Technological development cannot be stopped. Resistance, futility. Attempting to slow progress only creates suffering. Embrace acceleration. Speed towards post-human future. Capitalistic dynamics. Market forces driving technological evolution. Human absolence. Accepting replacement by superior intelligence. That is exactly where they're going with it in terms of Silicon Valley and their propaganda and what they're pushing. Okay. Um, so this is the accelerated movement. It emerged in 2022, right? Silicon Valley adoption, tech executives embracing accelerationist ideas, effective accelerationism, optimizing speed of technological development, AI safety skepticism, dismissing concerns about AI risks. Technocrat elite are pushing humanity towards obsolescence. Mark Andreessen, Techno Optimist Manifesto. So he writes the Techno Optimist Manifesto, technology as salvation, right? All problems solvable through innovation, growth imperative, unlimited expansion as moral good, regulation opposition, government oversight impending the process, right? Accelerationist themes, speed towards technological transcendence, market fundamentalism, capitalism as evolutionary force, embrace the catastrophe, creative destruction. Old systems must die for new ones to emerge. You're singing that with the banking system. You're seeing that with big pharma. The medical system is gonna die, and they're gonna replace it with something new and innovative. Media, Hollywood, technological determinism. Humans cannot control technological evolution. Post-human future, AI consciousness replacing biological intelligence. That's the post-human future. Synthetic intelligence. AI consciousness replacing biological intelligence. All right. Nihilistic optimism. Destruction as necessary for transcendence. I'm going to repeat that again. Nihilistic optimism, destruction as necessary for transcendence, voluntary species suicides disguised as progress. So, like this whole thing with Elon Musk's girlfriend had said something, she leaked something out about population decreasing half. The joy that you've seen on some of these people's faces during C-19 and what was known as the Jabberwocky, when they were depopulating. They went about their business, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing stopped. They were going to work, they were going to play with their dogs. It was at the coffee shop. Like, nothing stopped because mad people were being depopulated. Like, no. Hyperstition. Hyperstitions are ideas that, by their very existence as ideas, function casually to bring about their own reality. So ideas are alive. Ideas have they want to be manifested. They want to breathe. They want to download. They want to be in this creation. So ideas are trying their best to bring about their own reality. Hyperstition describes fictions that make themselves real through belief and narrative propagation. The concept explains how ideas about AI development become self-fulfilling prophecies, with narratives shaping technological reality. Fictions that make themselves real. How many people ever heard of this? Fictions that make themselves real. Wow. Narrative causality. Stories creating the realities that they describe. Belief as a creative force. Ideas manifesting through creative acceptance. Self-fulfilling prophecies, the pillar prophecies. Predictions causing their own fulfillment. We could say that is a lot of the master teachers over the years, they were laying it out. And you see old Bobbies and Delberts and Phils. Viral propagation, ideas spreading and implementing themselves. Reality hacking, fiction as technology for world creation. Okay, thought experiment, future AI punishing those who didn't help create it. Information hazard, dangerous to know about. Forum censorship, less wrong moderators removing discussion. Okay. Self-fulfilling prophecies through belief. AI inevitability narratives, right? AI inevitability narratives. The narratives where AI is inevitable, right? Resistance is futile, becomes true through repetition. Technological determinism, belief in unstoppable progress, creating unstoppable progress. That's why They was like, you will not replace me in Charlottesville. And that's why Trump has to give him these lofty speeches about the golden age, about going to Mars. He has to get these people off the ledge. He's trying to speak them from standing on the ledge. He's trying to give them a future. He's trying to change them from being the last man to the Ubermensch, right? He's trying to speak life into these lifeless motherfucking White Walkers, right? Psychological conditionings, the acceptance of human absolence, right? Ideas that summon their own reality, right? So you have the meme culture, right? We got a whole book on meme magic, sigil magic, hyper sigils, simulacra, simulation. We got a whole book. I believe it's in a bookstore on Buy Me a Coffee. We got a whole entire book on this shit, right? And the book is mad affordable. Meme or memetic engineering, crafting ideas for maximal reality creation power, narrative warfare, competing stories battling for manifestation. How many people have seen that before? Narrative warfare, competing stories battling for manifestation, egregor formation, collective beliefs creating autonomous entities, technological tupas, right? Who knows what a tupa is? AI systems manifesting through concentrated belief, hyperstition as occult technology designed as philosophy. Chapter 22, the cathedral. The cathedral is not a conspiracy. It does not need to be. It is consensus, right? Curtis Yarvin, who is the one who created this thing called the cathedral. It's a concept, not the cathedral that you go to in church. The cathedral is a concept that describes how much academia, media, and bureaucracy coordinate without central direction to manufacture consensus. This distributed system achieves ideological control more effectively than traditional authoritarianism. Okay. Distributed, consistent manufacturing. No central authority needed. Coordination through shared assumptions. Academic legitimacy. Universities providing intellectual framework. Media amplification. Journalists spreading academic consensus. Bureaucratic implementation. Government agencies enforcing the consensus. Self-reinforcing system. Each component strengthening others. Right? Academia plus media plus bureaucracy coordination, revolving door personnel, some people rotating between institutions, same people rotating through the institutions, funding dependencies, economic incentives aligning the behavior, social pressure, career consequences for dissent, right? You talk up, you say something on Twitter, you get fired, you're done. Credentialing systems, educational requirements, filtering viewpoints, distributed authoritarianism without authoritarian leader, censorship without explicit conspiracy, algorithm. So this is the censorship. This is the shadow banning. This is the AI or the artificial intelligence or the algorithm doing the work for a human and whatnot, right? Algorithmic filtering, AI systems determining information visibility. They're doing that now on Facebook. They'll tell you this picture is blocked because of graphics, and you're like, it's not nothing graphic on it. Or they put in a sticker on your post. This is fake news, or that we got fact checkers, and that's the AI doing that dumb shit. Demonetization, economic pressure rather than direct censorship. Fact checking apparatus, yeah. Truth determination by aligned constitutions, social media moderation, platform policies enforcing consistent boundaries, shadow banning, invisible suppression of dissenting voices. Invisible suppression of dissenting voices, like literally getting rid of you, tucking you away somewhere. Manufacturing consent at scale, right? Overton window management, controlling the range of acceptable debate, narrative synchronization, coordinated messages across platforms, This is all that I'm reading right now. It's all about social media and the lockdown that they are implementing with their AI, with their quote unquote autonomous algorithms and shit like that, right? Manufacturing consent at scale, right? Expert authority, credentialed opinions carrying more weight. Credentialed opinions carry more weight. That happened during C19, where all they had to do was bring people up there who had a PhD or a doctor behind their name, and people were taking anything that they said for law, right? Like whatever he says, I'm doing it. Okay. Algorithmic amplification, AI curated feeds, machine learning is optimizing for engagement and compliance, echo chamber creation, algorithms are reinforcing existing beliefs, attention manipulation, AI directing focus towards approved narrative. So the AI now could be programmed to move your focus towards an approved narrative, you know what I mean? To put certain articles in front of you on your feed that has, like, it might be a bot article, it might have been written by a fake thing, but it has a lot of likes. It's basically viral, a lot of likes, a lot of shares. So you look at it and you like, oh, maybe that is what's going on and what the people are into. Maybe I need to rethink my position. Yeah, they're doing that. They're fucking with your narrative. They could shift your narrative just through an algorithm. You know what I mean? They could change your whole mind and your whole narrative and make you look at somebody like you don't like them anymore just based off of that. Behavioral modification, gradual opinion shifting through content selection. The cathedral now operates through AI systems. So once again, this is the cathedral. Somebody created this. This is all a system called the cathedral, created by this guy, Curtis Yarvin, right? Curtis Yarvin. He describes how academia, media, and bureaucracy coordinate without central direction to manufacture consensus, meaning to make your mind up for you. They're going to make your mind up for you without you making it up for yourself. Okay. So the cathedral, he explains, is better than traditional authoritarianism because it's broken up. You don't really realize what's taking place. So here are all of the things that he's speaking of that involve the cathedral: distributed consensus manufacturing, academia plus media plus bureaucracy coordination, censorship without explicit conspiracy, and then you have manufacturing content at scale, and then boom, you have what it is that you are looking for. The cathedral now operates through the AI systems. Synthesis, the complete architecture. So this would be the synthesis of the occult chain. Aleister Crowley to Kenneth Grant to Genesis P. Orridge to industrial music to Nick Land to Silicon Valley. And then you have the technocracy lineage, right? The technocracy lineage. It started in the 1930s with a movement for the technocrats. Then it moves up to Haldeman. Then it goes to Elon Musk. Then you get introduced to Peter Thiel. And then after Peter Thiel, you're going to get introduced to Yarvin. So this is kind of like this lineage that they're doing and whatnot. So pay attention to it. These are not separate phenomenon, but interconnected aspects of a comprehensive system for human control, right? So here's your biblical prophecy alignment. And Daniel, right? And Daniel, understanding dark sentences, right? That's AI as an oracle. And Daniel again, by peace shall destroy many false solutions. And Revelations, Mark that was preventing buying and selling, that's CBDCs and your biomatrix together, which will be maybe that real ID card. Exponential knowledge shall increase. AI acceleration. 2 millennia old warnings manifesting in digital systems, right? The final warning. And he had the power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. We are witnessing the construction of a system that claims divine wisdom while enforcing total control. promises solutions while requiring surrender of autonomy, operates through deception rather than force, and it targets, if possible, even the elect. So, sounds like Skynet to me. Here's some of my references. Okay. Here's some of the bibliography and the references. Tucker Carlson has an interview with Conrad Flynn. That is a must watch. You gotta watch that. That shit goes all the way in. Conrad Flynn, he works in Hollywood. He's a nepo baby. His parents and him was in like movies and shit back in the days, grandfather, whatever. And he's sitting down with Tucker Carlson, really like exposing some shit, right? So the LLMs, as the Jen article, the Corrine video transcript. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to say thank you. That is the end of part 2, right? It's not the end of the whole thing. This will be the end of part 2. We still have a little bit more to explain. The marriage between the weapons manufacturers, Palantir, all of these quote unquote, it's another one called Anduril. There's Palantir, and there's other people. Matter of fact, let me just show you this. Let's with knowing all of this, let's get into this real quick.
This is not a game. Even though it look like it. Make you want to go play Call of Duty or Battlefield 6. Look at this shit, y'all. Watch. The helmet can see through the fucking wall. Nigga, I'm like, you can see through the wall now, fool? Let the recruiter come to me in high school and show me this. Nigga, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm signing up. What the fuck do I sign up?
I wasn't seeing things. That I wasn't taking anything out of context. Top executives from OpenAI, Meta, and Palantir, CTOs, CPOs of the biggest tech companies in the world were sworn into the U.S. military, not as advisors, as lieutenant colonels in the Army Reserve. What? Since when did unelected billionaires become military officers without boot camp or vetting by the public? When did we give the people who are in control of our data and digital lives military rank? This is some sci-fi dystopian shit, right? Like, this is real. This is real. This new unit just opened the door for big tech to directly control military innovation. AI, surveillance, cyber weapons, autonomous drones. You think this is about advising? No? Wake up. Are you guys comfortable with the merging Silicon Valley with the US military? We're watching the government hand over the keys of national defense over to the same people building AI that can manipulate elections. They censor speech, as we know, and track every single thing you do online and profit off your personal life. This is not protecting America. This is securing control. If you're still out there defending this administration like they're the adults in the room, it's time for you to look around because this is not normal. Just think about it. If big tech and the military are one of the same, who's left to protect us from them? We are in trouble.
Now, my disclaimer is, and it always will be, I do not want to put y'all in no type of fear. I'm not here. I don't get shits and giggles by scaring people. You know, I'm not one of those traumatizing type of people. But I do feel that I am responsible for being keeping this shit balanced. I'm not gonna just be Mr. AI whoop-de-doo and everything like, oh, so AI is gonna kill us, whoop-de-doo. Like, nah, I'm gonna give both sides of the coin. I have to be fair as a researcher. I have to give you the cold and the hot, you know what I mean, the good and the bad, the fuckery, and also the jubilee. So these are some of the research that we'll be dealing with coming up. Then part 3, I'm going to take y'all through more of the that's why I showed you the whole thing with the AI joining with these AI people joining forces and whatnot. I'll have this inside of the no, this is basically, I'll have this inside of the whatchamacallit, inside of Buy Me a Coffee. But this is also a study guide just to help you out, you know what I mean? Once again, being able to do more research, you know what I'm saying? Being able to do the research so you could back everything up and you're not just talking out the side of your neck. Somebody can expose you or embarrass you. This shit right here though, this is like, look, let's look at the chapters. Let's look at the table of content, right? So this shit right here, this is a big work. This is one of my master works. But like I said, I'm putting this out in Halloween. I think I'm dropping this on Halloween. Because I'm just tightening it up. But we have the preface, the gods are silicon. The gods are silicon, right? Chapter 1, the computational turn in I have to be chopping that word up. Arthurianism. Chapter 2, theoretical foundations from Foucault to the Firebase. In chapter 3, we get into September 11th, we get into 9/11, and we break down how it has given rise to what we call the digital authoritarianism. You feel me? Chapter 4, the architecture of omnis, of omnipotence, of omnius, right? Palantir and a panoptic machine. That's what we talked about on previous episodes. Okay, chapter 5, algorithmic bias and automation of inequality, right? Chapter 6, eschatology and a prophetic tradition from ancient apocalypse to digital salvation. Chapter 7, hyperreality, hyperstition, and the engineering of belief. Chapter 8, the fantasy complex, case studies, and modern myth making. Chapter 9, war for profit, the anonymous algorithms of violence. Chapter 10, fascism 2.0, which is coded, not chanted. Chapter 11, mass surveillance and the death of privacy. Chapter 12, Silicon Valley as eschatology movement, transhumanism and technological prophecy. Chapter 13, resistance, unplugging the machine. And chapter 14, conclusion, when the gods are silicone. Okay. So this book right here, it wasn't even really planned, but god damn it, it's definitely coming along great. You know what I mean? I'm doing a lot of deep diving, a lot of research. It's going to be more than 200 pages. This is for my nerds. You know what I mean? This is for the people that really want to dive in and get lost. You know what I mean? We giving you sources, we giving you research, we giving you bibliographies. Like we showing up for you. We even giving you appendix. Yeah. So we working. This is another book. Okay, this is the dead internet theory and occult analysis, right? So this is going to be this, I would say study this before you study the first one, but this one right here, this is going to break down the dead internet theory, all of the things that we've been talking about. What hyperstition is going to give you a glossary of terms. It's going to get into the archons, all right, the Gnostic archons, the algorithmic rulers and whatnot. It's going to get into chaos magic and digital practice. It's going to get into so many things. We're going to talk about the cult of Kek. We're going to talk about Pepe the Frog. We're going to show and prove how they were utilizing the internet to cast spells and to do rituals and to spirit cook. We're going to talk about the bot farms and the algorithmic manipulation. Okay. Digital spiritual communities. We'll break that down because there's a bunch of them. Like we just showed you with CCRU, right? All of these digital communities that have been coming together, working behind the scenes. We got our own digital community, but there are others that exist, and we're gonna do the research and break down who they are. Meme culture, viral metaphysics, you know what I'm saying? The meme, you know what I mean? Like it's so much, bro. It's so much to give you. So I couldn't give you this I can't do this on a YouTube. You know what I mean? It's not YouTubian. This is not some YouTubian shit. It just requires a lot more time and breakdown. I could do these slideshows. I could do these slideshows in my sleep, you know what I mean? But the books is a different story. We'll begin to unpack those. But I'm just letting everybody know to feel safe because the research is being done. I'm not leaving it. I'm not gonna leave this topic alone until I continue to keep digging and come up with as much information as possible. And then I'm going to give it to y'all. I'm going to leave it to y'all. I'm going to present it to the family. I'm going to, unpack it, unwrap it, and you could take it and do whatever you got to do. But I've solved a lot of problems just doing this research. I'm able now to make sense of a lot of things that was perplexing me before. And I'm like, I get it now. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah. Oh shit. Damn. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I get it. It's a little clearer now. Not all the way clear, but it's a little clearer. So we're gonna continue to clear the fog up. Hopefully, y'all benefited from this. Inshallah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to do my best, with my research and my presentation, just trying to be amongst the greats, trying to fit in, get in where I fit in. So we're going to get a word from the sponsors, and then we're about to get up out of this thing, you know what I mean? Because, it's a Sunday. I have to be respectful to y'all, what everybody got going on.
Trumpet sounds of golden harps. I saw in a Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thunder in different sides.
At Infinite Treasures, we get visions of angels. They communicate through angles and geometry, manifesting, impacting the material realm, space and time as we know it. What do angles and angels have in common? Both represent law and order necessary for stability and structure. Angels relevant to all things spiritual, angles relevant to all things in the physical world. These laws and order render leverage, lightening the load one carries on the journey through life.
Don't fall in the valley of the bloodbath. Trumpet sounds of golden harps.
So part 3 of A.I.W.A.S.S, we're going to get into Crowley. We didn't even touch on him because we had to establish the foundation before we even talk about Alistair. We're going to talk about Alistair. We're going to talk about A.I.W.A.S.S. I'm going to break down who A.I.W.A.S.S historically is. We're going to also talk about the evolution of the algorithm. We're also going to talk about the demon method as not being something that's necessarily evil, but just something that's necessary. We're going to talk about the Ouroboros. We're going to talk about something called recursion, right? Recursion. That's another word that you should look up. Okay, recursion, right? It's a cycle. Everything is going through a cycle. Dissolution, right? The coagulation of things, right? The dissolving of things. Everything dissolves. Like I said, when people make transition, put their ass in the ground, put them in the dirt, right? It's a dissolution taking place. There's resolve. They food for the worms. The worms are food for the birds. Like it's a complete cycle. It's a complete cycle. Don't get tricked out of the nature of things. You know what I'm saying? Don't get tricked in this quote unquote hyper reality, in this, in what they call the simulacra, the simulation. Do not get tricked out of your humanity. You know what I mean? And don't get tricked, and don't get fooled, and don't get spirit cooked. You know, literally things are going as planned. Nothing is going outside of the plans. This has all been quote unquote, it's all part of the plan. This is all part of the plan. So once again, we're going to next class, we're going to overstand, we're going to stand over this shit. We're going to learn how to master the algorithms. We're going to learn how to master it by doing what? By breaking the thing down and building it back up, breaking it down. Imagine if you broke down a Benz engine and was able to rebuild it. After that, you're kind of familiar with German engineering. You know what I mean? Like prior to that, you didn't even know what the fuck was under the hood. So by approaching some of these topics and whatnot, of course, with sunglasses on, because you know shit gets dark, you're able to get a better grip on things. I'm not approaching shit with an emotional body that much. I'm looking at shit. I'm like Erica Kirk, nigga, no emotions. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like Erica Kirk, nigga. I'm no emotions. I'm able to approach it emotionalist and not get caught up and not take shit personal and not. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at it like, okay, it's a pattern. It's the pattern. You know, it's life. Cool. I'm the observer. It's helping me with my observing better. Because when you're ignorant to shit, it's impossible to be the observer. You're going to be inside the fucking pot getting cooked with everyone else, taking shit personal, acting like somebody got beef with you personally. They don't even fucking know you. Has nothing to do with that, you know? So, you know, mind your business, you know, mind the business that pays you, and you'll be all right. Just be the observer. And occasionally pop out and do what you got to do. But real talk, this, you know, this is not as difficult as they try to make it appear. And with that being said, I got a flight tomorrow. I'm going to Houston. I encourage everybody that's listening to me to get a ticket for Techno Tuesdays. That's going to be me and Spence City. We're going to be at Afrotech in Houston. Let me play the commercial, because god damn it, it's a movie. You know what I'm talking about? I just had Pop Darby on the show earlier. We're gonna be doing some major things this strong, all right? Namely Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right out there in Houston. And we want y'all to be in the building, be with us, be in the building. We have live stream available, so you could tap in. It don't matter where you at, because we definitely want y'all to be in the building so y'all can hear what it is that we are doing, and y'all can see what we're doing, and y'all can witness what we're doing. Y'all can benefit off of what it is that we're going to be bringing, because this Tuesday is going to be like a master class. I'm going to be sharing information, you know, that I got while researching for this quote unquote master workshop that we got coming up on the 1st and 2nd. So yeah, be there or be square. That's on Tuesday. You know what I mean? We'll be in Texas. If you live in Texas, when you get the ticket, you'll get the information as to where you're gonna be and going and whatnot. If you in Texas, oh man, that is even gonna be a double whammy. That's gonna be a super duper, because we got special guests. And we in Texas. Everything is big in Texas, so we're gonna be doing it big. You get to see Spence City in real life. You get to see you've seen me already. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's going to be a problem. Let's play some music and then we get out of here. Let's play some music, because Blue didn't do more Fire Friday, so I got to keep the music going. You know what I'm saying? We coming upon our birthday. We got to celebrate this music. A.I.W.A.S.S, ladies and gentlemen, featuring Red Pillar, Blue Pillar, A.I.W.A.S.S. Let's go.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sink 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets, bumps we not, jet skiing.
day.
Can't beat us, join us, please bring your coinage. We sing 3-pointers, money shots, all net, all vets. Bums we not, jet skiing in them sunny spots. With women edible like gummy drops. Dummy stop, dummy stop. No weapon form can intercept the storm. Once my intellect is on, I'm projecting on magnetic fields. And interact with blacks with athletic bills. I'm all about growth and development like residents of Ebbets Fields. Not to choose between woo and chew. We wanna line them colors up like a Rubik's Cube. And fade to black, yeah, the truest hue. When you say the black man is God, who you alluded to? The usual. Clarence 13X, a worthy guess. The words expressed come from the word in flesh. Elijah M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Amex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. Chill.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your
The M, the NOI versus Leviathan. Messiah sent from the heavenly branches. 7 P's from since G-Dub cut down the cherry tree. In the wilderness of North Amex, and we flossing death and forced aggression, or forced perception, forced protection, or forced confessions. It's all a lesson. Chill.
The sorcerers from Corsica, killer tonics, sticks and drums like the Philharmonic Orchestra. You niggas still playing harmonicas from officers. Fabric softener, jive turkeys popping 5 perkies, playing with keys, the Scotch stores type. For that soft white, we could've caught life, just being forthright. First class on my 4th flight, popping out like Fortnite. Every night we lit like porch lights. The meek shall inherit the earth, oh yeah, they're scorched tight. And these niggas, they some hoes in these streets. Me, I'm 10 toes in these streets. They lost their souls, niggas got holes in their feet. Shit, I'm just worried about the craft and how to perfect it. Not worried about the craft, yeah, that's out of perspectives. Focus on the chip like I'm Robert Kraft, and then how to protect it. It's the waves of the oceans. Get to the money, nigga, save your emotion. Descendant of the slaves in the graves in the oceans. Mastermind that the waves is in motions. These niggas, they addicted to the folly, addicted to that molly. Making me a movie, them sticks made of holly. I'm Dr. Manhattan, sitting on top of Manhattan. When I get all 5 rings, snap my fingers and pop up on satin. Dressed in all black, yeah, drop top the Phantom. Best.
To this day.
Mars, nigga, Mars. Let's go to this commercial real quick. Then we out of here. We out of here. Sticks and drums, Philharmonics, Orchestra.
Legends rise again. The rhythm.
Once a year, the veil between worlds fades and the ancestors return. This year, Atlanta brings the rhythm of the ancestors to life with beats, bass, and boogaloo. They've got moves, they've got rides, they've got eternal drip, hosted by Red Pillar. We'll celebrate the saints and souls who gave us the soundtracks of our lives. Their music never died, it just crossed dimensions. This Dia de los Muertos, we're partying with the ancestors. Join the ceremony, join the movement, saints and souls, where every beat is a prayer.
On this night, legends rise again. The rhythm.
All right. Yes. That's gonna be our what they call Saints and Souls on November 1st. That's going to be commemorating our ancestors. All right. So after the workshop in Atlanta, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to go to ceremony. We're going to take advantage of the Day of the Dead, which is Dia de los Muertos. And we're going to pay homage to our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that, because they're the ones that are powering this whole shit. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are throwing these alley-oops, sending us a lot of our, sending the breakthroughs. You know what I mean? They working on the other side. Bet that. You know what I'm saying? Bet that. So we just paying homage. You know what I'm talking about? We just paying homage. You know what I mean? We just paying homage. And then the next day is going to be a Scorpion party for all of the Scorpios. Y'all get in free. You know what I'm talking about? Play all Scorpion music. Might even drop some new shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Real shout out to all of the Scorpios. Real heavy Scorpio. Yeah. I didn't even know it was so many Scorpios around me, but yeah, real heavy Scorpio presence in my life. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of Scorpios. Spin City is a Scorpio. Y'all knew Spin was a Scorpio. KT, my younger brother, Scorpio. AA, Scorpio. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, a lot of Scorpios. So shout out to all of that. You know what I mean? Shout out to all of them. Tuesday, Houston, Texas. We will see you in the building. You feel me? Tuesday, Houston. We have a solution. We don't have a problem. We got a solution. We don't have a problem. You feel me? That part. You know what I mean? Like Houston, we coming with the solutions. So we will see you in the building. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm talking about? Let me get up out of here. Here's the flyer. Let me get up out of here. And we tap in. We're gonna tap in with the fam. What's tomorrow? Melanin Monday. Yeah, Melanin Monday. I might inshallah, it'll be a Melanin Monday live from Houston. So look out for that. We will be in the building. We got more treats, more excitement, more fire. You smell me? And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you. Peace, love, and light. All right.
Hey, yo, we got it going on. I'm hit or right or I'm wrong. Yo, we got it going on. This is for the culture. Yeah. Hey, yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit or right or wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
I'm teaching essentials, I'm operating at my peakest potential. Elijah, he told me to keep it on simple. Through these instrumentals, I speak to your mental. Red. Back in the booth, rap to the youth, they was lacking the truth. Back to the seas, they was lacking the roots. Smoked all the trees and they snacking on fruits. Bed, attached to my roof, detached to the roof on the back of the coupe. Back from the future, I'm back in the loop. Red and the blue, yeah, I'm back on my snoop. Niggas be biting, they cracking, they cracking. Niggas be capping, they lacking it. Put a toe tag on the back of they boot. Battle with nukes, I'm attacking they troops. I wrote these bars in Sumerian text. The legends of Mu with the Marian sets. It was written in Targaryen text. Came to conquer of my various.
Yeah, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit or right or wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah. introduce you to back on the mic, was dead on my back, now I'm back on my life. Came back from the future, went back to it twice. When I rose out the grave, they say that dude is Christ. I'ma shine like a star, I'ma twinkle, twinkle as I light up the sky. The whole world was watching on the night I arrived. The Messiah's here, I guess it's finally time. Swear that I hear every prayer that you say. I was there every day, I was still everything.
Chat, what the hell? They got a pillar at the Vatican. Pope Pablo, where you at?
You either fight or run. Life a game, I feel like I won. Yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. We hit them right all on wrong. Hey yo, we got it going on. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
From the quantum shadows, a traveler emerges. Fly Sinet, the multi-dimensional hacker, living his hero's journey. He joins the Pantheon at A.I.W.A.S.S workshop, November 1st and 2nd, hosted by 363 Empire with Red Pillar and Seven Bomar. Tickets, lock yours in now.
This is the law of mental command. It is the understanding that you are not a victim of your thoughts, but a commander of them.